She has lots of male followers, and I'm worried about the kinds of men that she's getting attention from.
And where was you at?
I went to get the mail.
15 seconds to get some mail? Who's the dude you seen? Who was the dude?
Girlfriend 28 female changed her phone password, and now I, 29 male, can't access it anymore. What do I do? Grow the fuck up, I guess. Immediately off the bat, it's like you're almost 30. You can't trust your partner. If that's the case, then why are you with them at all? Let's see what they say, though. I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for a few years now. We've been living together for about a year. We've had our ups and downs. There's an issue that's really been bothering me lately. I mean, I guess that's fine. Most relationships do have their ups and downs. My girlfriend recently changed the password on her phone, and now I can't access it anymore. What, you just mad that, like, you lost your progress in Candy Crush?
We're done when I say we're done.
Previously, I knew her password and could use her phone when needed. I never felt controlling because she never made a fuss about it. Until now. She sees the train barreling down the tracks. She's like, that's a load of red flags. Something this small is gonna get you all twisted up. You either have like a ton of your own insecurities or you're cheating too. That's what this comes down to. My girlfriend is somewhat active on social media. She has lots of friends on Snapchat and has lots of followers in Instagram. She's always posting photos and chatting to her friends. She has lots of male followers, and I'm worried about the kinds of men that she's getting attention from.
And where was you at?
I went to get the mail.
15 seconds to get some mail? Who's the dude you seen? Who was the dude?
Yes, you better message all of them privately and go, oh, you better stop following my girlfriend. I'll come to your house and mess you up. I'm an ex-Navy SEAL. What kinds of men is she getting attention from? I'd like you to elucidate. Men who emasculate you in some way? I just really want to lay this all out on the table. Can we do that? Because if there's like just some Instagram chud, you'd be like, okay, whatever. Our relationship goes far deeper than whatever these people probably have to offer. I think I'm safe. OP continues, that's one of the reasons why I want to monitor her. To make sure she's staying safe and not getting harassed or bothered by any of these guys. Trust me, if she is, she'll tell you about it. Women are sort of that way, you know. Maybe he doesn't know. You want to monitor her? That's like something you do for your teenage kids. I monitor my daughter's text conversations, yes, but for my partner, for my wife, what the hell? It's really weird. Super possessive and controlling, and that's probably why she started locking her phone, because she's trying to find a way out. And good for her, I hope she runs far and fast. You're the type of guy that you're trying to protect her from, quote unquote, and you don't even see it. Okay, yesterday, I used her phone just to check up on her, and that's when I found out she changed her password. Check up on her. I like how you make it sound like it's a nice thing that you're doing. Oh, I'm just, this is for her, really, why I'm looking.
I lie to myself.
You might be able to lie to yourself, but good God, are you failing at lying to basically everybody else on the internet? I asked her about it, and she said she wanted to have a bit more privacy. I don't understand. I let her use phone by herself. She has lots of privacy. Yeah, I let you use the phone by yourself sometimes. Now give it to me so I can check it. Yeah, she's asking for a little bit of space, and OP's not willing to do that. This relationship is dead on its feet. It's basically completely over. All we have to do is decide who gets the house. Or more realistically, who gets to stay in the apartment. Good Lord. Again, you're talking about this girl who's 1 year younger than you, like a small child. Yeah, let her use the phone all by herself. She's such a big girl. Now it's getting weird. Let's move on. I explained to her that it made me feel more secure knowing I could access her phone, and that it was important for me to have that level of trust and openness in our relationship. It's the opposite of trust. Do you not understand? She said she understands all that, but yeah, still wants her privacy. Yeah, isn't that so frustrating that she has her own mind and will? Tell me how to fix her, Reddit. You guys think I did the right thing, right? No, nobody does. I'm struggling with this because I don't understand why she felt the need to change it all of a sudden. It feels like a step backward in our relationship. I'm finding it hard to shake the feeling that she's keeping something from me. I hope it drives you up a wall. How should I handle this situation? Please don't come at me. Only comment if you have genuine advice. I mean, the genuine advice was buried in there somewhere. Actually, scratch that. All of it was genuine advice. It was just so open and honest that sometimes it hurts a little bit. Now the thing that you have to decide, now that you've been given all of this information, dunked on by the entire internet, is whether or not you will take this advice on board and apply it in the future, or if you get super salty and get a stick up your ass about the whole thing. And I think I know which option OP will go for. And the sad part about all that is he is almost 30, dude. This feels like some really fucking low stakes drama, like you're investing your entire sense of self into what she's doing with her phone, and it's just really fucking weird, man. I gotta be honest with you. It doesn't really matter what reason she had for changing the password. She changed the password. You talked about your feelings, and she just still decided to keep the password changed. And why is that? Because you can't control other people. All you can do is control yourself. So do exactly that. Live your best possible life. Be grateful that you have a partner that you've stuck it out with for this many years. It seems like you both want to keep it going. But yeah, some things are going to have to change. Change is the only constant. And trust me, OP, you really need some change, dude. This is like not a good way to be. Have some confidence in yourself. Live for yourself instead of other people, alright? Got this wormy little like emo pick-me boy energy. I hate it. Anyway, we'll find something else. That was a pretty good one. Am I the asshole for behaving like a child on a stranger's wedding? I mean, hey, it's a celebration. I guess the question is how much like a child, because I don't want you to like duke your pants or something. So, my 26 female partner, who is 25 male, got invited to a colleague's wedding, and I was his +1. He asked me if I'd really want to come, since I don't know anyone there, and also I have social anxiety issues, but I wanted to join him, because I kinda like weddings. Yeah, kinda. So we went there, and I was introduced briefly to some of my partner's colleagues, who were there as well, and after dinner, he engaged in conversation with them. I didn't really know what to do, since I felt left out. Gosh, just like he said. And my phone had died in the meantime. My ADHD took me to the children's corner, where there were coloring books and pencils. Your ADHD didn't make you do a goddamn thing. You wandered over there and decided to blame it on your... It's a convenient excuse. Whoa, look at me, guys. My mental illness is piloting me around. I have no control of what's going on. It's like, you need to take that probably self-diagnosis on board and counteract it. I understand a wire or two being crossed, but that doesn't mean we get to violate the social contract. And I think coloring books and pencils at a wedding, yeah, it's not a good look. Now all of your partner's colleagues think that his significant other is stunted in some way.
Oh my god,
They're looking at him sideways. He's never gonna get that promotion now because you had to color in Barney the dinosaur. He's not even fucking mauve. He's lavender. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. My partner caught me coloring a bouquet of flowers and told me that I was embarrassing him in front of his colleagues and that I should stop. Dude, no shit. I would be mortified. He said that I should go dance with them instead, but I hated the music and did not feel comfortable showing off my questionable dancing skills, so I kept drawing. Ugh. Again, you can't control other people. They have constant control over themselves, but yeah, what you're choosing to do is cringe. You want to color a coloring book? Color a coloring book at home. You don't do it during a social outing. What the fuck is this? 2 coloring book pages later, they were gone. And when they didn't come back, I went outside to look for my partner. But he was nowhere near the venue, and it was too cold outside for me to go any further. My jacket was in the car, and he had the key. At 1 a.m., I had finished coloring the entire book, and he was still gone. Well, you got what you want. You got to color in the book. It's good, right? You chose the book over your partner, and now that's what you're left with. Because you had to be quirky and special. Oh, but trust me, she's not quite done being quirky and special yet. Everyone else was drunk, and the music had gotten better, so I pretended to be drunk as well, and entered the empty dance floor, mindlessly spinning around until I felt dizzy. Oh my god! All of the people in this room have no context for any of this other than the girl that this guy I work with brought spent the entire night coloring a coloring book and then went out and spun on the dance floor until she got dizzy and fell down. She's a literal child, if only mentally, and I move that we strike him from the board. Oh, my kid, boyfriend's probably not on the board. Not dating OP, he's not. Trust me, friend, you could do better. Scrape him off. When he came back, he was angry with me for behaving so childishly and embarrassing him in front of his colleagues and everyone else for the entire evening. Honestly, well deserved. Please, it's a wedding. Act like a human being. He usually wants to keep work stuff and private stuff separated, and apparently this wedding counted as work stuff for him, so he really didn't want me there, which I was aware of. I still joined him and then complained about being neglected, so am I the asshole? You're definitely the cringe lord. I'm not gonna say you have to respect your boyfriend's wishes every single time. What I am saying is, read the fucking room. Do you understand? Why are you doing something that nobody else is doing? Oh, it's ADHD goblins in my head, like... Then you push back against the goblins, okay? You go with the flow and try not to be an imposition in a place where you haven't really been welcomed. Even boyfriend was like, I don't know if you want to go. And then it's all work stuff, and she's like, this is lame. I'm gonna get some crayons. It's a work function. Stop it! You can't just use a bunch of alphabet letters to shield yourself from your own bad behavior. And that's advice for life. Alright, we'll move on into the next one and see what happens. Am I the a-hole for charging my roommates a clean air fee to make things more fair? Yeah, well, works for the government, I guess. If they're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. You only think it's crazy because I'm small and they're big. But you will pay the clean air fee. It's ridiculous already. I love it. Oh, Reddit! I don't usually use this website, but my roommates told me to post on here in hopes that some outside perspectives will help us settle this situation. Hence the brand new account. Super. I hope it's been quite elucidating for you. The three of us live in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and split costs equally 3 ways. For the most part. What does that mean? They have a slightly bigger bedroom, so I pay a bit more than the other 2 roommates in rent. How much more? Let's boil it down to a dollar amount. How about a square footage? Anything concrete we can work with? No? Super, you're useless to me. However, at the moment, I feel like I'm putting more work into maintaining the environment that we all get to enjoy, and that I should be compensated fairly for that. Yeah, I bought some plants, now fucking pay me. What are you talking about? I'm gonna smoke cigarettes around your plant until it dies. Take that clean air and blow it right up your ass. And I have over 100 different houseplants throughout the apartment. Wow, 100! And surely you were doing that for the betterment of your roommates and not just because you enjoy houseplants, right? God, it's so transparent. This includes shared spaces like the living room that I spend hours every week and thousands of dollars caring for, purchasing, and maintaining. My roommates have commented on how pretty some of the plants are, so I know they appreciate having them around as well. Yeah, I start to appreciate them a lot less when I have to pay for them. It's nice to have these things. I'm glad it's something you enjoy. But as soon as you come for the wallet, no sir. I'd just as soon take all of those plants out back and burn them. Do you understand me? If your only argument is, they said they're pretty one time. You're driving me up a wall. Obviously, the presence of these plants contributes to the cleanliness of the air that we breathe in our home. With so many plants in the house, our home air quality is obviously superior to those without houseplants. And with COVID and other air quality considerations, it's basically like having an in-house HEPA air purifier. But the plants are natural, so they're even better. Yes, I've raised the rare COVID-eating fly trap. It's better than a HEPA air purifier. I'm pretty sure that's why they have, HEPA air purifiers in hospitals, not a bunch of plants. I'll buy in and say the air is probably more oxygenated, but, whoop-de-doo. Are we lacking oxygen? Do we live on top of a fucking mountain? You're out of your mind trying to get a leg up on your roommates like this. Because I put so much money and so many hours of work into these plants, I feel like my roommates should contribute to that financial burden by paying what we would call a clean air fee. Yes, we will call it that, but only you will be paying for it. I don't think that's going to happen. You made a choice to raise all of these plants. What's really going on here? Did you pick up a coke habit or something? You just need a little bit of extra money. We could get you some help. The clean air fee is not going to fix it. Something reasonable, like $25 a month from each roommate would really help offset the cost of things like fertilizer, new pots, soil, etc., and the time that I put into taking care of the plants. Yeah, how often do you have to buy these things? It's just like a constant expansion. If you were really down for the cause, you'd go out in the field and collect a bunch of cow shit. Fertilizer's free. New pot? Well, I dug up this clay and threw it in a kiln. Hewn from the earth. Soil? Yeah, you can find that basically anywhere. It's fine. It's really about the time that you put in. And if it feels like a burden, this time that you put in, if you really aren't enjoying it, then maybe it's time to call it quits. Instead of trying to steal $25 a month from your roommate. It's just ridiculous. How did this start and how did it get here? I think this is an incredibly fair agreement for my roommates, as they get the benefit of living in a house with organically clean air and not doing any of the work. Who programmed you to believe this? It was your mom, wasn't it? Now listen to me, little OP. Don't believe in those HEPA air purifiers. Breathing next to a tree is the cleanest air that you can get. Okay, thanks, Mom. I'll write about it in a Reddit post. I hate to say, you're both stupid as hell. The plants do nothing. They look nice. Not nice enough to pay for. I thought you did this because you enjoyed it. Okay, retreading ground now. They think I'm being unreasonable and selfish. Yeah, that's accurate. I told them that I'd be willing to compromise and not charge them the fee if they would hold their breath between the front door and going to their bedrooms. Jesus.
That don't work. There's no way out of this one. You're done.
How about every time you walk in the door, I punch you in the fucking solar plexus? Boom! Welcome home, stupid! Don't forget to water your leafy children. They are kind of like leafy children. I know wifey takes a lot of pride in her garden. But she doesn't go on about how it's better than a HEPA air purifier and now I have to pay for these things. She enjoys it. It soothes her soul. I don't think this OP has a soul. OP wants to assure us that the holding the breath thing isn't ridiculous because the distance isn't even that far. It's not like we live in a huge apartment. Yes, so why not make unreasonable demands of these people who live with and outnumber you? Not very forward thinking, are we, OP? So they aren't breathing the plant-cleaned air that they aren't paying for. You make a really good politician. Did anybody ever tell you that? This is exactly the type of dumb bullshit that gets shoved down people's throat at every turn. Plant-cleaned air is really good. We should include that in the slogan. They think it's stupid, but have yet to propose another reasonable compromise, so I think it's pretty clear who's being unreasonable in this situation. This has to be a troll. Come on. The compromise is you get off my back. You let the plants fucking rot for all I care. I'm not paying for clean air. So basically that's where we're at. I'm the one who everyone gives rent money to, and then I write a check to the landlord, so if we don't figure this out by the next time rent is due, it's gonna be a problem. How can I get my roommates to see/understand my side of this? They have seen it and understood it for the bullshit that it is. I don't understand how many different ways I could pull this apart for you. Why is it going to be a problem next time they pay rent? You're going to pull the cleaned air fee out of it? Just inform the landlord that, yeah, we're missing like 50 to $100 in there because they didn't pay the clean air fee. The landlord's not going to give a shit. I will ask you one more time. Do you have a narcotics problem of some sort? Is that the reasoning behind all this? Because I really couldn't see it any other way. Unless there was like severe head trauma where now he doesn't enjoy the things he used to enjoy anymore. You're an insane person, and you're so insane that you can't comprehend. I mean, I've dealt with people like this before. We're dealing with one on the channel right now, Hot Dog Man. But I really do wish there would be like some moment of lucidity where you realize how just stupid you're being with this whole situation. You want to take care of the plants? Do it. You don't want to do it? Then don't. Stop trying to come after your roommates, because everybody's out here struggling, alright? Tell me to hold my breath in my own house. I swear to God, I'll knock the piss out of you. Ugh. Episodes like this always get me all worked up. I think the people love it. Let's continue on and do another. Am I the antagonist for ignoring my coworker and not talking to her anymore after she rejected me? I mean, coworker, probably not if that's the only thing that you were out for. Maybe creating a hostile work environment, but we'll see about it. My coworker, 23 female, and I, 23 male, have been best friends from elementary school. Oh, so not just coworker then. We've been through middle school, high school, and college. We even got accepted into the same college and also got into the same company after graduating. Dude, this is really weird. Were you stalking her the whole time? Is that how this is gonna unfold? Because I'm pretty sure that's the case. We happened to spend all this time together, now I'm just gonna happen to confess my undying love for you. I don't know if it's the way to go. But OP says that they do work in different fields. Just so the stalking wouldn't be obvious, I'm sure. It was great, because we could have lunches together. Also, it was nice having my best friend at work. We dated different people in our life, but never each other. Although I did come close to asking her out a few times, but never got the courage to do so. Maybe you should have done it earlier, so by this point you might have lived it down a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I did somehow muster up the courage to ask her out because I genuinely thought over the past few months that there was some tension building between us. No, that tension is between your thighs and yours alone, OP.
Uh-oh. Boner alert.
You're reading into things that aren't there. It's fine to shoot your shot or whatever, but to just completely stonewall her after that? After you've, been to elementary school together, that seems wild to me. Again, in the theme of this episode, you're free to do whatever it is that you want to do, but I'm not quite sure that that's the move to make. And, we were both single, so I thought I'd give it a shot. But she seemed slightly shocked that I asked her out, and asked if we could just remain friends because the friendship was really valuable. I was genuinely hurt, and she could probably see it in my face, and she apologized, but I told her it was okay, and that there was no need to apologize. But it wasn't okay, was it, OP? You just shut down immediately. Well, we can't talk about this thing anymore. I guess I'll never talk to you again. Bye. What the fuck? That's weird, bro. I know this is some big thing and it was all built up for you, but water off a duck's back, dude. Maintain the friendship and, I don't know, maybe sparks will fly in the future. Although don't just stick around for that. You need to actually enjoy the friendship, which I guess you didn't. You were just one of those beta orbiters waiting for your chance. And then after years of buildup, you took your chance. And I'm glad she didn't find you pitiable enough to just be like, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's see how much worse we can make each other. Oh, it'll happen. So the next day, after, yeah, it's okay, there's no need to apologize, I wasn't feeling too great. And when I saw her at work and she said hi, I just ignored her and went to my desk. Damn, she was opening the door to you again. Is our friendship still valid? And OP's like, no, it's not. I was only there for one thing. That's how she's gonna see it. That's how I see it too, for that matter. What a weirdo. Maybe you shouldn't be around people for a little while. Just work on yourself, OP. That's what I'm gonna recommend. I didn't have lunch with her that afternoon and ignored a couple of her texts. This carried on for the next couple of days where I just ignored her. But after that, she stopped saying hi to me. Yeah, you think she's gonna pursue you forever? What the fuck? I've noticed her looking at me a few times, but it's like we're complete strangers now. Am I the butthole? Yeah, dude. What are you talking about? This person is your best friend, you obviously talk a whole lot, and yeah, you just completely stonewall them because they're like, I don't think it's a good idea for us to date. Be mature enough to just take it with some grace and be like, you know what, that's cool. Instead, you threw a decade-and-a-half friendship in the toilet just because of some tension in your pee-pee. She wouldn't touch it, so I can't talk to her anymore. It's not the end of the world to take an L, okay? She was willing to let you bounce back if you really enjoyed the friendship, but like I said, it doesn't seem like you enjoyed the friendship. You were there for one thing, and you failed to get it. And thank God for that, honestly. Looking at it from her point of view, yeah, she's probably equally messed up about it too, because now she believes the entire friendship was just the long con to try and get into her pants. You've irreparably damaged another human being because of your stupid lizard brain impulses. Do you realize that? I know you don't, because you're stupid lizard brain. But try and think beyond that for just a moment, if you could. I think that would be really neat. I said at the beginning of the post, possibly creating a hostile work environment, and yeah, I think that's what this is now. Although maybe not, if they just ignore each other. HR will be like, it's not worth filing paperwork over. Oh, you really shit the bed there, OP. It's not too late to clean yourself up, but no, He let it go on for weeks. He sat there in it. Now, if you really want the friendship back, you got a lot of cleaning up to do.
How much washing up do you think you could do without any washing up liquid?
Yes, I promised a cadre of people we'd love to hate today, and we're not done with the freak parade quite yet. It marches on right now. From relationship advice, how can I reestablish, 47 female, contact with my daughter, 30 female? Damn, having a kid at 17 is pretty rough. I'll try to cut you some slack. Probably not going to, it's fine. I had my daughter at a young age. In the beginning, we were extremely close, like any mother and child should be, but we were closer than that. There's no closer than a child, like, literally being inside of you. Nobody else can possibly compare. This special bond between you and her is not any more special than the bond between any other parent and child. I need you to understand that before we move forward. Things changed when I got married. My husband didn't treat her the best, and he didn't want to be a stepfather. And yet you married him. It's like all these things just sort of happened to me. I didn't have any agency in this situation. Like, he knows you have a kid, he doesn't want to be a stepdad, then fucking get to stepping. Pardon the pun. We ended up having our own kids, and things got so bad, she was eventually taken in by her friend's parents, and they became her legal guardian. The biological dad wasn't interested in taking her, so we slowly fell out of contact with her. How bad? How bad did things get that she had to be adopted by somebody else? More pointedly, I should ask, how bad did you let things get? How bad did you encourage them to get, OP? And then you think you could just waltz back into her life? Like, oh, I see you got some nice stuff going on here. Look, kick my feet up on the coffee table. Like, you understand I don't really fucking know you? My only memories of you are terrible. Please get out of my house. And she would be fully within her rights to say all of that. If she wants to open the door back up, hey, okay, you're my mother. Maybe we could try and work something out. I'm not gonna begrudge her that. But given the information that we have here, she's running and she's right to run. OP says, I got updates from my mom, who is still heavily involved in my daughter's life. Yeah, grandmas are like that. She's finished medical school and residency. She's married and her husband is also very successful. I'm so proud of the woman my daughter became. Yeah, with none of your help whatsoever.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Matter of fact, she probably would have even been more successful if your completely shit genetics weren't dragging her down every step of the way. But hey, past is past. She rose above you. And honestly, that is the best revenge. A life well lived. I hope she never opens the door back up to you. I hope you have to go to your grave, knowing that what you did was bad enough to drive that child away from your home forever. And she'll be like, oh, it wasn't really me, it was my husband. Yeah, the person you married. It's fucking ridiculous. You've obviously got self-esteem issues and problems of your own to sort out, OP, so why don't you get to doing that before you go and fuck up your daughter's life for no reason? Just as a favor to me, huh? This absolutely needs to be said. I was completely wrong to defend his disgusting behavior. We have grown, but both understand that we can't change the past. It's been long overdue that we establish a relationship with her. Oh good, it's all on your terms, is it? I'm ready. You can open the door now. Why isn't she opening the door? Is it any fucking mystery? You don't get to say past is past and have it just be gone forever. Her experience is still valid. Whether or not you just want to... Let's just breeze past that bit, shall we? The husband and the mother are both absolute scum, as far as I'm concerned. I sincerely hope daughter never lets you back in. That bridge is burnt. You burnt it real good. You still haven't started making different decisions. You just shrug and go, I don't know. We probably learned something from it. This time we won't fuck it up as bad. Just let us in. No thank you. No thank you. If I try to talk with her, she'll make a comment about me talking to Brian instead, since he's more important to me. Damn, dude.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Our first story from Relationship Advice. My 29 male fraternal twin brother, 29 male, has been no contact with me for 9 years. I'm ready to make amends. How do I do that? I mean, based off the post title alone, it's great you're willing to make amends, but I think that's a two-way street. Is he willing to make amends with you? So, my brother and I had a tumultuous relationship, to say the least. When I was younger, I distanced myself from my brother. He argued I bullied him, but it never got to that extent. And then the post goes on to describe how you bullied him. Yeah, I've seen this before. This started around middle school, as we had a disparity in popularity. I wasn't popular, to say the least. I was in the middle, but my brother was a complete outcast, with a K. Shout out big boy, Andre 3K. He felt I had bullied him just to impress the popular kids. Even though we are twins, my brother was the complete opposite. He just had weird hobbies. Meanwhile, I played sports. Whoa. Heck yeah, dude, great replacement for a personality, sports ball, whoa. He complained to my parents and older sister about what I was doing, but they agreed with me. They did tell me to tone it down, and in my immaturity, I refused. Oh yeah. Hey look guys, yeah totally, I was a scumbag when I was younger, but I'm not no more. Okay, well, prove it. I guess he is trying to prove it, but the other person has to be willing to open the door, and it seems like they were hurt enough by what you did that they decided, I don't have a brother no more. And as sad as it is to me to see blood bonds fall apart, I don't blame him at all, especially considering the upcoming paragraph. This takes me to the last time that he ever spoke with me. Senior year of high school. We had our prom. I didn't have my own date and was going with a group of friends. He was dating this weird girl who was a grade below us. I figured if I steal his prom date, would make me get in with the popular kids. I was immature back then. Yeah, you said that already, stupid. The most hilarious part is you're still trying to get in with the popular kids at senior prom. Like, you guys aren't going to see each other at all in a couple months. Everybody goes dust to the wind when high school's over. You realize that. You scorned a forever relationship with your brother in order to impress these people for 2 months or whatever. I'd say this is all just desserts. That night went exactly how I planned, and essentially, I banged out my brother's girlfriend.
Do you regret what you did? Nah.
You're just the worst. It wasn't enough
Done!
to steal the date.
Lay down in
You
a
had to go
hole!
seal the deal at all. After that, he stopped talking to me completely. Gosh.
Well, duh.
It didn't impress the kids in school either. I mostly got, damn, that's crazy, you bang your brother's girl. People found the drama funny, but it didn't make me popular. All for nothing. My parents were upset at my brother for letting a woman get between us. That is like some grade A scapegoating. I bet the brother left the entire family behind. Good for him, honestly. Fuck all these people. Maybe the parents did actually blame the one who did the banging, but they were just like too intimidated to talk to him. Well, he's not gonna stop anyways. Let's blame his brother so we can pretend like we did something. I hope that twin is out there just having the time of his life. I hope his family never gets back in. Not something I usually advocate, but yeah, I'm seeing how this is all coming together. Well, after graduation, brother joins the army and doesn't tell anyone. He blocked the entire family. Oh, so good. It's been years since we talked. All I know is he's a warrant officer now. I don't know exactly what that is. Yeah, you don't know a lot of things, do you, OP? But I have a friend who follows his account. He's married and his wife's a pharmacist, so she's doing well for herself. None of us family was invited to the wedding. I think it's time to put the past behind us and rebuild our relationship. Yeah, what would be the point of that? I'm sure you coming back into his life is a net negative, okay? Considering all the things I've seen here, he's moved on and he's moved on well. Why do you want to drag yourself back into it? For your own ego, for the most part. You're a piece of shit, OP, and you need to take a deep look inside yourself. Just because you were young when these things happened, yeah, you don't get a pass on that. Those are formative experiences. You've ruined your brother's formative years.
Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
I'd never forgive you. I don't think he's gonna forgive you. And good, I hope you look back with regret every day on what you've lost. Now get this garbage out of my sight. Our next post takes us to Am I the Beehole, where, am I the Beehole for asking my classmate if I can pray for her? Here we go, more people using religion as a wedge in order to serve their own means. Cool, awesome, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I, 18 male, am in college, and I am studying nursing. I'm in an anatomy and physiology class with this girl, 20, ? She used to be very talkative and nice to me, but recently she's changed her attitude around me. A few days ago, we had a group project. It was us and 2 other people. One of the other members was talking about a surgery she had on her ankle a few years ago and was showing her x-ray. The girl mentioned that she hurt her ankle a few years ago and it never healed. She said it gives her problems from time to time and asked for the girl's doctor she went to because apparently he's great. Well, all of this seems within the boundaries so far. After class, she always goes to the library. I felt inclined to pray for her that day, but I always try to ask permission first. I asked her if I could pray for her, and she seemed hesitant about it. I asked her what she had to lose other than a few seconds. She ended up saying no, and we got into a little disagreement about religion. So, you're bothering to ask permission, but then when you get a no, you argue about it, instead of gracefully being like, okay, that's fine. I also think it's super weird to even ask, like, you just want them to know that you prayed for them? It's so weird.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
You want to pray for somebody? Do it. You don't ever have to tell them about it. Unless you're doing it for your own means, which clearly you are, because you disagreed about it. Are you really just trying to pray about the ankle, or are you trying to open the door to something more? And I think I already know the answer. She kept saying that she respects what I believe, but she just doesn't believe it. I could tell that she didn't mean it. Yeah, that thing you just told me, I could tell it's not true. I just know, okay? Another religious whack job, just like that sovereign citizen video we did the other day. Personally, I believe in religion, but what these people are practicing is not religion. It's self-serving and horrible. OP continues, I told her that I know she has a bad experience with religion growing up, and she also has an aversion to religion due to her sexuality, so I try not some of her hurtful comments to heart. Honestly, you think you're opening the door and really having a conversation, but you're only driving her further away from religion. People generally find it in their own time when it's supposed to happen. You could spread the good word, but if people don't want to hear about it, that's fine. I can't make you listen. But I mean, he's 18, he's dumb, like really dumb. He's out there trying to change the world. Like, how about you just shut the fuck up and focus on school for now, okay? Learn a few more things first before you try and paint for me how my life is played out. Well, the next class meeting, she wasn't really talking to anyone, which I found odd. After class, I went downstairs to the library to ask what was wrong, and one of the math tutors stopped me and told me that if I was coming into the library, I needed to study, read, or get out, because apparently another tutor and student in the library reported that I was quote-unquote homophobic towards her. I tried to defend myself, but she wasn't listening to me. I mean, were you not being at least slightly homophobic? We didn't have to take it this direction at all. You could have said, can I pray for you? And she'd say no. And you'd say, okay, thank you, have a good day. and you could still have a cohesive working relationship, but you had to turn it into a whole fucking thing. Because, again, ego. It's always ego. OP says, I was not homophobic in the slightest. All I said was that I know how she was raised, and her inclination might make her feel like she can't have a relationship with God. I feel like I'm being targeted for my beliefs, when all I was trying to do was be kind. You weren't. It's all performative for you, I can tell. I know this is a touchy subject to most people, so I didn't know who else to turn to other than strangers online. That's a sad story all in itself, honestly. Where's your social support network? Maybe they're all in the church and he knows the answer that they'd give. So yes, an impartial response from a stranger online. You overstepped your boundaries. Maybe it started out with the best intentions, but that's not how it's looking to me from the outside. The first thing that was hinky in this story was him asking to pray for somebody. But yeah, like I said, it's not something that you really need to ask for unless you're trying to open the door to some sort of conversion. And yeah, she's not interested in the bullshit that you're trying to sell, okay? You couldn't just take no for an answer. You couldn't just walk away gracefully for whatever reason. You had to try and take it to the mat. And sometimes this is what happens. All would have been well if you just accepted no as no. You freak. Next one. Again from Am I the Butthole because it's just so good. Am I that for prioritizing a friend over my pregnant wife? Do you even have to ask? Where are your priorities, son? My wife, 28 female, and I, 29 male, got married last summer. She's currently 7 months pregnant with our first child. She had an appointment with her OBGYN 2 weeks ago to address some complications with the pregnancy. The doctor wasn't overly concerned and confirmed that both my wife and the baby are healthy, but they did recommend her starting her maternity leave early and taking as much bed rest as possible. Yeah, sounds like what happened to my wife around 7 months. She started like dilating early. And of course the OB's, not gonna freak out right there on the spot because they don't want her to freak out herself and dilate any further. So yes, take some bed rest. Everything's gonna be fine. But it seems like the husband is just using that as an excuse. Like, hey, they didn't rush you into surgery. You're gonna be fine. Like, no, dude, bed rest is pretty serious. What's she doing walking around 7 months anyways? Jeez. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, but please do as little as possible. So OP says, a few days after that appointment, my best friend, Brian, his fiance passed away in a car accident. Brian and I have been friends since we were 3. We lived on the same street growing up. He was a groomsman in my wedding, and he asked me to be one for him as well. Their wedding was supposed to be this summer. Yeah, that's some heavy stuff happening right there. Some real established history, but I do notice that you decided not to marry Brian. Why is that, OP? Like, yeah, he's been your friend for a long time, but this other person you chose to be your life partner, she's carrying your seed. Do you understand? I'm sorry, Brian's having a rough time, Maybe we get some FaceTime in there. You gonna be all right, buddy? I'd totally come over there and drink some beers with you, but I can't abandon my pregnant wife. Wah, wah. See, I'm sad at the end of the paragraph, and then I start talking and make myself laugh. Now I feel better, don't you? We'll continue on. Brian and I live about an hour away from each other now, so we don't see each other as often. Usually only a few times a year, on special occasions, but as soon as I got the news about his fiancé, I immediately drove to be with him. Is there not some sort of subtext to be with him? What exactly are we talking about here, OP? I'm sorry, I don't mean to turn it into anything perverse. I'm just joking, mostly, probably. You were there for your friend in a tough time, but, you can't literally do it for him. He's got to come to grips and figure out how to move forward without his fiancé. But you know whose fiancé now wife is still alive and in need of your help? Yeah, it's yours. I don't know, maybe I can give you one night, Brian. But at a certain point, we all have to learn how to pretend to be capable adults, don't we? How old are they? Almost 30? Yeah, Brian doesn't need you. Brian's gonna be just fine. Anyway, we'll continue. I've been juggling helping Brian with everything I can while also taking care of my wife and everything that she needs. On top of that, I'm still working full-time. I've driven to Brian's house a few nights after work just to hang out, and I spent one night there last weekend to help him with some things. How many's a few? 3, 4? I'd say that's too many days to leave your pregnant wife home alone to fend for herself. And then there's the overnighting. Did Brian guilt trip you into this? What's going on here? I suppose this is a little bit outside my frame of reference, as I've never had a true childhood friend like this. But I think I would pick my wife over him every time. I live with one all of the time. We're literal life partners. OP says Brian's fiance's funeral is scheduled for next week, so I've been helping him with that as much as I can as well. Does he not have, another support network, a family of his own or something? Because it's cool if he doesn't. He just seems to be leaning on OP an awful lot. And OP seemingly just can't say no. Maybe he really does enjoy hanging out with Brian this much. They've done a lot of catching up. But yeah, wife is pregnant. Maybe we could save this until after the baby happens and stuff. I don't know. Like I said before, you can't do it for him. Is that what you're doing? Scheduling the funeral and whatnot? You could just call them. I'm having a hard time grasping this. A couple nights ago, I told my wife that I planned on driving down to Brian's one night this week. Just to hang out, keep him company. This started an argument between us because my wife feels like I'm prioritizing Brian too much and neglecting her. She said that she needs me at home to help her because she doesn't want to go against doctor's orders and try to do too much. She told me that her and the baby need to be my number one priority right now, not Brian. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. We've shared genetic material. Who is Brian, actually? I get it, bros and whatnot, but yeah. You can't put them over the person that you signed a legal contract with. Let's break it down like that. Maybe it's more understandable. I told her I'm trying to juggle everything, and I understand she needs my help, but Brian is at the lowest point in his life, and I need to be there for him. She told me that I don't need to be there for him. I'm making a choice to be there for him, instead of being at home taking care of her needs. Wife said it's kind of based, honestly. Sort of bossy, but also, yeah, base. I told her I'm just trying to get Brian through the funeral, and then I'll make sure that I'm more attentive to things at home. She told me that Brian has other friends and family that can be there for him, and that I'm spending too much time with him. Yeah, why doesn't he, cycle in and out? Why does it need to be OP 4 nights a week? It's weird, dude. I don't like it, dude. She said that the health of her and the baby should be more important to me than anything else right now, including Brian, and that she needs me at home as much as possible. I told her she was being unreasonable, and that I'm not gonna abandon my best friend in his darkest days. So you have to sit there by his side like a loyal hound? Couldn't you just text me or something? You've not been abandoned, I just have a family now. I can't drink a 6-pack and play Super Nintendo all night no matter how fucking bad I want to. You made this choice. You decided to have the baby, and yes, the baby comes with some responsibility. I don't think he's really felt the weight of that quite yet. Either his super dad powers will activate in a couple months more time, or he'll be a scared little pissant baby boy and run away from his newly born child. Seen both of them happen. I like the former a lot more than the latter. I'm hoping the former for you, OP, but I don't know. You seem like sort of a noodle spine, a little bit of a pushover, huh? So now, OP's wife is giving me the silent treatment, unless she needs something from me. If I try to talk with her, she'll make a comment about me talking to Brian instead, since he's more important to me. Damn, dude.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Yeah. She's aired her grievances with you directly. This is what open communication is about. There's a compromise in there somewhere, but OP doesn't want to dig through the tough conversation to find the compromise. He's just like, I'm gonna go tell Reddit, and hopefully somebody there will say that I'm right. No, I don't think so. Especially if you got kids. You really understand if you got kids. OP concludes with, I understand she's stressed and hormonal. Don't say that. But she's never been this outright mean about anything. Am I wrong here? Yes, absolutely. Why do you not care more about your life partner and your child? I do understand you knew the guy since he was 3. He's a real stand-up guy. But yeah, that stand-up guy has to understand that I have a pregnant wife at home. I can't be... You need to make a phone call? Call me anytime. But I'm not coming over. Especially not multiple nights a week. Especially not for little sleepovers. Not while my wife is supposed to be on bed rest. Are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, yeah, he definitely is. I don't understand the logic whatsoever. Maybe that's because there is none. Anyway, moving on. Am I to be whole once more for telling my twin sister that she will never fit in with us? Lots of fighting twins today. Couple weird bromances. There's also that weird homophobic religious guy. Anyway, I, 29 female, have 4 siblings. Mark, 33 male. Josh, 31 male. Eva, 29 female. And Tony, 26 male. Me and Eva are fraternal twins. Our mother was a stay-at-home mom, but she was emotionally absent. Yeah, you try maintaining a home with too many children and remaining emotionally present. It's a balancing act, okay? She did the best she could. You all lived, didn't you?
You want to run? Go ahead. No one's stopping you. Stop complaining.
Am I joking? I don't know. It's probably what my mom would tell you. Growing up, our father was very hard on us. He wanted his first son to be a doctor, so Mark had to work all the time. He had Josh learn violin at 4 years old and made him play for hours. Tony had to be a lawyer, and I had the chance to be a beautiful kid, and I participated in beauty pageants starting at 3 years old. All that sounded really great, pushing their children to be better people, but then the beauty pageants thing, I'm kind of like, ugh. At 3, it's gross. No show on the planet makes me sicker than toddlers and tiaras, okay? Anyway, Eva, however, was free of this, because she wasn't beautiful. And my father didn't think a woman could do much anyway. She always had liberty and could do whatever she wanted without any pressure on her shoulders. She could have friends, had no one care about her grades, and didn't have to work her ass off every day. We're not proud of it, but we tended to exclude her, since she was slacking off while we were all working so hard. I mean, I can understand some level of resentment, but yeah, it's really not Eva's fault. She was chosen to get pushed out of the nest for some reason that I don't fully grasp quite yet. Because she wasn't beautiful, and a woman couldn't do much anyways. Like, that's it. I try to think the best of parents. Maybe Eva didn't express any interest in things. She was just sort of a slacker, maybe, as we hear about in the next sentence. Eva was a problematic teen. She skipped class, hung around with a bad crowd, and drank. She even disappeared for a week without notice when we were 15, stating that she wanted to get away with her boyfriend for a road trip. Well, I wasn't even allowed to leave the house for a night because my parents wanted to make sure I did my work and would only eat what I was allowed to. That is a tragic story right there, dude. Nobody cared that Eva left. She's just that much of a problem child. Why is there always a good twin and an evil twin, you know? My wife has twin brothers, and yeah, there's a good twin and an evil twin. Based on these 2 instances of anecdotal evidence, I'm pretty sure that's conclusive. Trace amounts of science. OP continues, Eva would throw tantrums, saying she was neglected and no one would care if she disappeared. I mean, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Maybe she has a right to throw a tantrum about it. OP says, I was enraged with her, however, because she never realized the chance she had, and we only grew apart from that point, which is exactly what your parents wanted, you know? They said, that one's a bad influence. We gotta keep her away from the good apples, rather than like sitting Eva down and talking to her and trying to make her one of the good apples. It's sort of a boomer mindset. Anyway, after high school, OP says I went far away and started working as a makeup artist. I eloped at 26 with Eli, 27 male, and never looked back. Yeah, sounds like there wasn't much to look back to. Last month, our father passed away, and my siblings and I went to the family home for the funeral. We stayed for 3 weeks and reconnected a lot. Yeah, death will do that to people. And sounds like a nice little vacay, you know? So the eldest, Mark, had a breakdown at 23 from all the pressure and barely recovered. He's now happier, got a job as a tech in a lab, is married, and has 2 little kids. Josh stopped violin and is a drummer and piano teacher, and Tony is a public defender. Eva chose to be a social worker. Yeah, that honestly makes complete sense to me. She doesn't want other people to have to go through what she's gone through. OP says it was a bit weird with Eva, since we hadn't seen each other for years and gave up contact too. She once again tried to dismiss what we went through, saying that she was just as maltreated as we were, even though that is nowhere near true. I mean, it's different, but it's definitely a maltreatment situation, isn't it? I don't think she's trying to downplay anybody's trauma. She's trying to share with you her experience. And you just write it off. You're like, no, I had it worse. I have to win the Victim Olympics. Okay, fine. You win. As a matter of fact, add 2 more points on top of your winning score for being a socially crippled bitch. Damn. I didn't need to say all that. It's just how I feel inside. One evening, Eva completely flipped out on us, calling me a butthole and saying that we were like our father and excluding her. She kept going on about how our parents never took an interest in her and neither did we, and that she went through hell thinking that she was worthless. Yeah, for no reason. That's just the situation that you're born into as a child to try and sort that out. That is hell. Eva's alone. At least they had each other. Ugh, you're gross, OP. Mark started to cry, so I took Eva out and lashed out at her. Saying that she was the butthole for being jealous of our misery and that she'll never fit in with us because she was never maltreated and it was insane of her to claim that she had. Dude, this is so wild. Are you kidding me right now? This could have been a moment where we broke down barriers and laid it all on the table, but you're still just really trying to hold on for whatever reason to the fact that you were treated worse in some way. This OP's horrible. It makes me so upset on Eva's behalf. Well, Eva left that night and didn't apologize to any of... Why would she apologize to you, OP? I don't understand. When I went home, I cried a lot and told everything to my husband, expecting him to support me, but he said that I should be the one to call and apologize to my sister. So, am I the butthole? It sounds like your husband is a man of logic and reason. Lean upon him more often. It's literally the stupidest fight that I've ever heard. Yes, these things happened. Yes, they were formative. But it's how we move past it. You don't blow up your entire family because like, oh yeah, from my perspective, I was treated worse than you were. To this day, you can see the fire of competition that her dead daddy lit inside of her, just trying to outcompete her sister for no reason whatsoever. She's there, like she wants to reconnect, but you can't admit that she maybe experienced another side of the coin, something that you didn't. Maybe you could both grow as people. Oh, I'm seething. It's really terrible. You should be the one to apologize, for sure. Maybe she didn't experience the same things, whatever, but your words are far too harsh, okay? Reconsider. Anyway, let's do another one. r/confessions! The group chat between me and the boys got leaked. The consequences have been extreme. Whoa, straight out of the 90s. I'm party deep. How extreme? What sort of things were you sharing in the group chat? Maybe next time consider not doing that. OP says, me and my buddies use Discord a ton, and we have a server we made with just us in it, and we post tons of offensive jokes and memes, pictures of girls we've dated or hooked up with. No nudes though, because we're not disrespectful. Boasts of trolling we've done, etc. Yeah, that sounds like the most cringe thing ever. Hey, we got a pretty cringe Discord. You should come on by. Share some memes, some stuff you'd like to see read on the channel. Yeah, why not, you know? Links in the description. You can boast about all the trolling you've done. Well, this guy Derek got into our circle of friends on our main server, and we thought Derek was a cool dude, so we invited him to join our server. All 8 of us actually liked the dude, and he seemed chill, and we thought he'd fit in. However, instead, this a-hole screenshotted everything. As in, literally things going back 5+ years, and then shared it all in our community, exposing us. Derek's a Giga Chat. I'm torn between Stitches Get Stitches and delicious, juicy leaks that turn into content that feeds my family. After much deliberation, I think I'm going to support the leaks. Where is the paste bin for all these leaks? I'd like to have a look. A lot of people are pissed. One girl my buddy dated briefly is furious that raunchy text messages she sent were in there too. Gasp. Is that not like on the same level as nude? I guess a slightly lower level, but it is still an extreme violation. Like, that is meant for your eyes only. She's talking about her hoo-ha in the text messages. A couple people we made fun of by photoshooping pictures of them, and they're super butthurt too. I find it interesting that you don't elaborate on what you Photoshop them into. There's also a ton of Israel, Palestine, and Russia, Ukraine memes that people thought were in poor taste. The majority of them are, to be fair. Scroll right past them shits, I ain't got time. Now, a bunch of people think that we're just terrible people now and don't want to be our friends anymore. But there's a few good people who actually want to join at least. Lol. Dude, this is a literal child writing this post, right? So okay, good. Whatever, kiddo. I'm glad you got exposed. It doesn't seem like you learned a lesson from it at all, so guess what? It's gonna happen again. And you have to act surprised the next time too, okay? You're a toxic person, reveling in a toxic situation. Whatever. Either way, if you're reading this, you're a total goo gobbler, Derek. A pathetic mama's boy who decided to leak stuff to make dudes who called you brother look bad. Fuck you. Oh my god, hell yeah, dude. Totally owned him at the end. This is the dumbest thing I've read in a while. Somehow I still managed to enjoy it, and I hope that you did too, friends. She took advantage of my state, and this led to an affair.
No, don't do it. No, don't do it.
From r/relationship advice, I, 30 male, am starting to resent my wife, 30 female, for not being my ex. What steps to take to rebuild our relationship? Really weird way to go through life. I don't know why you want to rebuild the relationship at this point. She could be your ex anytime. You go in, you file some paperwork, bam! Ex-wife. But it's up to you, I guess. Background. I've been with my wife, Erin, for 7 years, married for 5, and we have a 2-year-old. 2 years ago, I fell in love with the greatest woman ever, Diamond. You realize that's a stripper name, right? Don't fuck with it. I never cheated on my wife before that, and I still say that I didn't. Well, then you're just lying. What we had was true love. No, stupid. All the fucking chemicals in your brain started swirling around, and they're like, yeah, plant some DNA in there. Don't do it. Don't do it, OP. She drinks like a goldfish. You're gonna have a baby with a hair lip. Don't do it. A disclaimer, my wife is a kind soul, but we don't have that spark that we used to. I miss the spark, intensity, and passion that we had in the beginning of our relationship. Well, people fucking grow up, you know? You can still do it. You can go on dates and have a nice time. Accept and enjoy the fact that your marriage has matured into something beyond, like, let's just hump each other all the time, you know? OP says, I filed for divorce to be with Diamond, like we agreed, but for reasons unknown, Diamond got cold feet. See? She don't even want you that bad. She wanted to see if you'd throw away your partner of 7 years. Walk away from your 2-year-old child. And yeah, that's exactly what you decided to do. And Diamond saw that, and she's like, oh, he's not a fucking stable individual. He'll walk away at any time. Maybe he goes down to see Diamond at work and meets Crystal and walks away from another 2-year-old child, you know? I would get cold feet too. My relationship with Diamond lasted 11 months. Oh, what a magical almost year it was. Afterwards, my wife and I got back together because the divorce wasn't official yet. Damn, you announced it, gave her the paperwork and all that shit? And she still decided to come back? She's got some self-esteem issues, man. And then OP, yeah, he took her back in even though he didn't even want her. It's like, yeah, I guess you'll do until I find another Diamond. Jesus. Now, Erin is a great woman, but she's not Diamond. You're a tool, man. After getting back together with Erin, every little thing she does bothers me. The way she gets dressed to go to work, the way she makes my coffee, everything. You don't even make your own fucking coffee? She's going off to work. What are you doing? Sitting around the house, thumb up your butt? What a disaster. It's all laid at your feet and you're just like, I don't even want it. Unfortunately, I began taking it out on her by starting arguments and being snappy. Erin is a great person and doesn't deserve that. Then why are you doing it? You're like some little goblin lives in my fucking head. Take accountability for your own actions. But you can't do that. You can't even admit that you cheated for 11 months. I hate this fucking guy, dude. He deserves the worst. Fallout, I realized I needed to take a step back after what happened last night. My wife put the baby to bed and said she was going to shower and head to bed early. She asked if I wanted a snack or something before I go to bed. I said no. She said she loves me and kissed me on the cheek. I didn't say anything, and she said, "Why don't you love me?" She said, "I'm doing everything I can, but I don't know." I told her point blank, "You're not her." You fucking disaster. Like, what did Diamond do? The head game must have been off the charts or something.
You gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't understand. What could get you so sprung? It's a really short post. He doesn't describe himself or his wife or even Diamond. We just have to fill in those blanks ourselves. And if that's the case, then I say, yeah, probably head game's off the chart. What are you? Well, of course, when I said you're not her, that hurt wife a lot. She just went upstairs, and when I joined her an hour later, she was still crying. You let it go for an hour. Whatever, she'll get over it. I don't think she will, dude. She cried all night in the master bedroom that I couldn't get sleep. Oh, poor you. Yeah, keep it down. I know I've spurned you for another woman, but I'm trying to sleep here. He really could not give less of a shit. I hope with every fiber of my being that woman wakes up tomorrow, realizes what this is, and walks away forever. With the kid. Just leave OP on his own. You can pine for Diamond on your own time. If she gave enough of a shit, she might come back, but I know she won't, because you're garbage. She saw it a lot faster than wife see it, but now everybody see it, right? Be alone. It's all you deserve. Anyway, she stopped and went to bed finally at 3:30. I feel so fucking terrible.
Well, no f***ing shit.
I let her cry for 5 hours, but I do feel really bad, you guys. Why don't you just walk in there, you know? Try and fix it. Because you're a man, baby. You're a little boy in a grown man's body. You're impulsive, uncaring. I mean, it has all the makings of a sociopath, doesn't it? I don't believe you felt terrible at all. I want to do my part to rebuild our passion. Please help any way you can. Yeah, I'm going to help your wife escape is what I'm going to do. This situation is definitely not good for her. For OP, I don't give a shit. You burn down a relationship with your wife and your child. Give him a couple years alone, chasing strippers around. He's gonna miss it. He's gonna miss it real bad. And the thing is, he knows it too. That's why he clawed back his wife. He's like, oh, it didn't work with the woman I cheated with, so you want to just keep doing this thing even though we have the divorce paperwork all signed and everything? Just file the paperwork. Let her go. Figure your own shit out. Or don't, whatever. Actually, I don't care. Crawl into a dumpster and light yourself on fire. I feel nothing anymore. We'll move on forward into something different. It's another really short post. It's also from Relationship Advice, and it's titled, I, 28 male, was manipulated into cheating on my 28 female wife. Yeah, they really got you good, didn't they? How do we move forward through our marriage? You don't, dude. All of a sudden, you want to make sure everything's all right. Let's put the pieces back together. No, dude, it's irreparably damaged, okay? You can't ever fix it again. You made this decision. You weren't manipulated into it, so fucking live with it. But OP says, hey, Reddit, I'm going through a tough time in my marriage. Yeah, cheating tends to do that. It all started because recently I entered a depression. Oh, is that a new thing for you? It's kind of funny, honestly. Some of us out here grinding with depression every day and still doing the right thing. But he's like, yeah, it just happened to me, so I had to change my whole personality and make stupid decisions. That's not what depression does. Or I guess it can be. But if you're actively aware that you're in a depression, then you should take countermeasures. Anyway, Opie says, my wife and I both have very demanding jobs. Recently, I had a new project that had me working longer hours, and that is what started my depression. Oh, so it wasn't the depression, it was the job, and then the girl at the job. Just anything to avoid taking accountability is what I'm saying here. I don't care about your stupid fucking sad brain chemicals, okay? We all have them. Get over it. Now, going through my depression, I started confiding in my coworker about how I was feeling. I thought I could trust her as a friend, but she knew I was in a vulnerable state. Oh, that temptress! How dare she make herself emotionally available to a workmate? She took advantage of my state, and this led to an affair.
No, don't do it! No, don't do it.
How unfair of her to do that. I'm sure you had no agency here at all. You're just like, oh, that's what you want to do? I guess so, because I'm depressed. It's as good an excuse as any, isn't it? Almost 30 years old and OP still hasn't learned to just own it. Yeah, you did the thing. You wanted to do the thing. But you can't even admit that much. And you're like, oh, can we just put the marriage back together? Not unless you're living in reality, which you're clearly not. My wife found out and we're going to counseling Monday, but this month our marriage is on the ropes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be that way for much longer than a month. I've been trying to get her to understand my depression and how low my mental health was, but she doesn't want to hear it. Who the fuck would? All you're doing is sitting there making up excuses for why you did the bad thing. Oh, if my brain chemicals are out of balance again, I might do another bad thing. I'll have to end up right back in counseling. It's the dumbest thing ever. You're a waste of breath. All I'm going to say in conclusion is accept some fucking responsibility. Gosh, this episode really is making my blood boil. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. My blood pressure, I can't. Here's another one from r/relationship advice. My 23 male high school sweetheart, 24 female, is leaving me. How can I convince her to try counseling? Yeah, counseling will fix it all. I can do whatever I want, and then we just go to counseling. Duh. OP says, I love my wife so much. I've been with her since my junior year of high school and her senior year of high school. I wasn't very attractive in high school, but I had a late growth spurt. On top of that, I started hitting the gym. This gave me access to women who was extremely attractive, women who didn't pay me no mind. Well, first of all, your grammar's fucking atrocious. I'm glad you're a meathead, because that gives you some sort of excuse. But referring to it as like women granting you access and stuff, that's that's a really cringe way to put it. You're saying that your wife is not as attractive as these women that you've gained access to? It's gonna get super weird. And here it comes. This led to me getting a hall pass from my wife and eventually needing to open the relationship. Worst idea ever. Never gonna happen. Worst fucking idea ever. My wife was against it, but I knew I owed it to myself.
Excuse me, what?
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna do this nice thing for me. Sure, it's crushing the soul out of my wife, but I deserve it, don't I? You are the fucking devil. It was gonna be temporary until I get everything out of my system. Yeah, temporary like a government program. 20 years later, you're like, huh, that thing's still going? It's so stupid. Again, wife, please have some self-respect here. What? Why would you allow this? 2 years passed and I thought everything was going well and I was having a blast. I thought our relationship was great and she serves me with divorce papers. Yeah, dude. She's clearly miserable, and because she doesn't confront you with it, you're like, it's probably okay. Uh-huh. I haven't signed the divorce papers. She said the 2 years since we opened our relationship have been the most difficult in her life. Now, she didn't tell me this or communicate this with me. She says that she doesn't feel like I value her, and I told her if I didn't value her, I would have divorced her. Yeah, somebody's got to clean the shit out my drawers. I guess you'll do. I hate this, man. Every single post today is just agony. Why would you not grant her the divorce? I'll tell you what your wife should do. Wait until you're asleep and go to the kitchen and get a really big knife, or, I don't know, just put poison in your tea or something. Until death do us part. I tried to do this the nice way. OP says, I offered to close the relationship and we could get therapy, but she said she's over it. She loves me, but she can't do this anymore. She's staying with her friend and her friend's boyfriend, and I'm just at a loss. I mean, you've been lost for a long goddamn time, but at least you're finally starting to realize it. I definitely take great enjoyment in the fact that wife was like, nope, I'm out of here. She sat around for 2 years, maybe things will change, but yeah, that's miserable. Open marriages, polyamorous relationships, I'm not into it, man. I've only ever seen it end in misery. If you have one and it works for you, hey, great. But based on my own experiences, yeah, very inadvisable. And to me, it sounds like a win-win, you know? Wife gets her self-respect back, OP can go smash the attractive women. Of course, he's got to clean his own shit out of his drawers, but I don't know. You win some, you lose some. I guess that was the least bad of the trio so far. It had sort of a happy ending. We'll just have to see how the next one goes. This one's from r/true off my chest for a little change up. I broke my wife, and I don't think it is fixable. Are you referring to your wife as it? Yeah, I kept her barefoot and pregnant over the stove till she done broke. That sounds awful. So Opie says, all this happened 6 months ago, and I only chose to talk now because I don't see improvement in sight, and I am hopeless. I am hopeless. You should get a tattoo of that. We were at a party. My friend is single, and we started talking about love and relationships. My wife and I have been happily married for 7 years. We have 3 beautiful children. She's the love of my life. When I was talking to my friend, I felt like we were on different levels of thinking. His complaints are mostly superficial about how the people he dated looked. I was a bit drunk at this point, and I said something like, you don't fall in love with looks. Look at me and my wife. I love her more than anything compared to my ex who was just looks. Everyone went silent, and my damage control was worse, so I just ended up shutting the hell up. What was the damage control? I need you to be very specific here. You've already made the fatal mistake of comparing your wife to your ex. You should have shut up at that point. You're not going to fix it from there. Also, on top of all that, you are wrong. I fall in love with looks, or at least I won't date anybody that I'm not physically attracted to. Neither will Jerry Seinfeld.
She had man hands.
That's why Jerry dates underage girls. Allegedly. No, I think that's proven. Whatever. The entertainment industry's gross. More at 11. So OP says I couldn't get my point across, but even I thought that maybe these thoughts had been in my head and only came out when I was drunk. Does that make it better for you? My wife was shocked. First week, she was so angry and wanted to understand what I meant, and nothing I said was good enough. I was drunk. I love her. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. She thought being drunk made me say my true feelings. I mean, it is what happens. A drunk mouth speaks a sober mind. I agree with the wife. You put her on blast and you put her on blast and like in front of a bunch of people. The fuck? I'd be pissed off too. Then one morning she just said, you know, I've never felt as ugly as I felt this past week. I've always thought that I was beautiful. She didn't cry this time, but she but she hasn't been too happy since. I started crying and apologizing, but she was like emotionless. Yeah, she's disconnected from you now. It was the last time she looked at me, too. She's taciturn and distant, but only with me. She's lost 20 pounds and works out like 6 or 7 days a week. She never has free time with me. If she's not with the children or her family and friends, she's immersed in some book or has her headphones on. It amazes me how dudes just sit around and like let that shit happen. Yeah, she's been angry for a week. No big deal. It's like, get in there and talk to her. Ask her to put the book down and see if you can have a conversation. Personally, I do think this one was fixable. You didn't cheat or anything like that. You just have to sit down and be like, okay, there's some things I liked about her, but I like way more things about you. I made you a list. It might be hard to read. Well, I don't know. Wifey and I are pretty open about our exes. But you guys have been together 7 years. Surely the subject's come up before. Whatever. OP says she's always fully clothed now, even in bed. She locks the bathroom door when she takes a shower. She's more active on social media, too. She shares many pictures of herself, and she thanks everyone who gives her a compliment. Before, it was just pictures with our children and pets, but now it's her, working out in sports bras and tights. I broke her, and I don't know how to fix it. Dude, she's on her way out the door right now. This is preparation for mating season to begin again, all right? You can always tell via social media, you know? Woman starts posting pictures solely of herself. Dad starts posting pictures with the kids. Uh-oh, there's some things going on there. I went down to the comments looking for, you know, what the damage control was, and I found it. Top comment. OP stated the following: my friend and wife and my wife's friend and husband were very silent, and I started saying, I didn't mean my wife wasn't good looking, I just meant I loved her for other things. Then, even worse, I said that sometimes you are very attracted to someone and everything is a whirlwind with them, but you have nothing in common and see no future, and I probably alluded that I used my brain and not my dong when looking for a relationship. I thought it was the most logical way of thinking, but for her, I think she would have preferred that whirlwind and passion. I haven't read all the comments. This is the first one I read that asked to explain the damage control. Cause see, yeah, the first line you said, it wasn't that bad. You could wind that back. But women do like a little bit of whirlwind, a little bit of passion, you know? Nobody wants to think that their relationship is all of us just gray on the omnibus eating gray sludge. That's the relationship that you truly want deep down, isn't it, OP? Admit it! Now, I don't think any of this was like beyond the pale or something that would insult your wife to this degree. The thing that insulted her to this degree is the fact that you didn't try to do anything about it. You're just like, yeah, she's miserable. That's too bad. You let her fester and stew in her own thoughts for weeks and weeks, and yeah, now of course she's disconnected. Is it fixable? I mean, it does seem like an error in communication, but you have to be more transparent and open and willing to admit that you were wrong in parts. OP says he cried and apologized, but like, how about having a conversation? Did you do that? Lay it all out on the table? It might also be an accumulation of other things, you know? A lot of times when it seems like women are just blowing up and going crazy over the one thing, it's because there's 100 different things behind the one thing. And as a man, your job is to have the nuts to start peeling the layers back and be like, okay, we could sort through this. Some things don't even need solutions or anything. She just wants to feel heard. I don't think OP mentioned how old they are, but you got 3 kids. You should be mature enough to work through this, but I can't say for sure. I guess maybe this is the least worst of the bunch so far. So things are looking up. That's great. We'll continue on confidently. Another one from r/relationship advice. I told my wife, 35 female, that she couldn't do it without me, 34 male. Turns out she can. Yeah, she's using her own spite as fuel. The best revenge is a life well lived, and I love that she's throwing that in your face. She probably doesn't even think about you anymore, but you're tracking her every move on social media. Good, keep watching. See what you threw away. I don't know if any of that's the case. We'll read the post. I made one stupid, selfish comment to my wife a week or so ago, and now my life is in disarray. What was the comment? My wife is in some crisis. Her work is closed and she's being paid, but she's home with our kids now, including one 3-year-old. She gets breaks on Monday and Friday with childcare. We went into having kids knowing that she wanted to be a working mother, so this has been an adjustment, to say the least. Who actually wants to be a working mother? I'm sure she'd like to be a stay-at-home mother if you could provide for her. But that's your own failing as a man, isn't it, OP? Okay, wait. Maybe I'm going in a little hard. I'm going to reel it back for just a minute, and we'll continue reading, okay? So on to the OG fight. She spent a long day with our kids and the neighboring kids, and when I came upstairs from work and she asked for a break, I didn't respond well. Upstairs from work? You're also working from home. She's vocalized and communicated that she needs a break, and you're like, meh! I made excuses and didn't offer help, and for the first time in years, my wife lost her temper and cursed at me. I mean, your kids, the neighboring kids, we're talking at least 4 kids. Why is it so hard to give her a break? Your excuses must have been some real bullshit. You know, the work can wait. Go ahead, be with your family. Like an idiot, I dug in and thought I was right. I admit we both said some unkind things, but after Reddit humbled me and she made me sit down and write a list of things I did for the family that day and compared it with her longer list, and I apologized. She accepted, and I figured things would go back to normal. Nuh-uh. Now that you've seen the list, you have to take part of the list so that our lists are even. I am curious about the first post that OP made, so we are going to do a sub-story of this story. I did find it in his post history, so let's run through that right now. OP asks, am I wrong in this fight? My wife and I don't fight much, and when we do fight, we usually communicate well afterwards and things go back to normal. I brag to my friends about how reasonable my wife is, and her ability to communicate and empathize is something I deeply admire. She doesn't hold grudges. She talks me through my rough times. Until now. Due to a fire, my wife's out of work but still earning her salary, thanks insurance. We decided we'd stay home with our young son while out of work. She doesn't love child rearing, which is something we knew going into having kids. But honestly, it's hard to tell. She's a great mom, present and loving even when I can see she's struggling inside. I give my wife a lot of breaks. We co-parent, split bedtime routines for our 2 kids. We both pull our weight. Nuh-uh, that's not what the list said. But I digress. Yesterday was a snow day. My daughter was home with my wife and son. I was working from home downstairs all day. I helped my daughter with cyber school until noon. My wife was with my son in the snow all morning, plowing the drive and sidewalks, etc., maintaining the house. My daughter joined them, and from the sound of things and some videos, she brought her friends over for playing and hot chocolate. I worked until around 5, and when I went upstairs, it was chaos. My wife was doing laundry and helping my daughter who fell and hurt herself on the ice. She sent home the friends, and we had dinner. I did the cleanup, and right after finishing, keep in mind, I've been downstairs working all day. Not even a bathroom break afternoon. I go into the playroom, and my wife approaches me, and it goes something like this. Her, hey, can I go lay down for a bit? The maybe offense, I admit I made a face and said, I haven't gone to the bathroom all day, and I put cookies in the oven. Bro, what the fuck cookies got to do with this? I said I need to lay down. You gotta let me or no? Maybe that's an increase in hostility, but I don't know. I'm still in the thick of it. I could tell I messed up just by the face she gave me. She says, fine, never mind. Forget I asked. Heaven forbid. Now I'm sensing some attitude, and I know I've misstepped here, so I say, no, it's fine. I'll take care of it all. Go take a break. Oh, the vitriol is already starting to flow. It's not really about this break, is it? You're stressed out because you're working hard trying to keep the family afloat. She's stressed out because she's taking care of the kids all the time. It's a tale as old as history. And you both failed to communicate like adults here. To my complete shock, in front of our kids, who I admit aren't paying us much attention, but are still close, my wife says, I said, never fucking mind. I've been running around on my feet all day watching our kids and other people's kids, and heaven fucking forbid I asked for 20 minutes to myself. I again say, go take a break. I told you it was fine. But she's clearly lost her marbles and is seeing red. Yeah, being around kids will do that.
This is the worst.
I know. I spend the vast majority of our day with our 2-year-old. And he's a really good 2-year-old, but yeah, sometimes he gets a little illogical or weird. He broke his toy and I can't put it together and now he's all upset. It's like, yeah, it gets under your skin after a while. She starts cleaning up and helping with the kids, and I do too. I tried to overcompensate, but she just took over caring for them and they listened to her. In the hall, I said, I think you forget I work all day. And she viciously says, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot. Boy, I'll say it again, this fight is not about the thing that you think it's about. There's a lot of underlying stuff here. Start peeling that onion, I guess. OP says, I felt like an ass. I get that she works hard caring for the kids, but I work hard too. I think not having her job and escape is making her reaction to this fight worse. She texted me the next day with her usual communication. She expressed how upset she felt with my behavior and the way I acted towards her. She said she was feeding and taking care of 6 kids all day in the snow alone, and she still cleaned the entire house and deep cleaned our craft room. I explained that I'm stressed at work and that I didn't get why she's so upset since I offered her a break, but she said, I don't want your pity breaks. She ended it with, thanks for the apology, by the way. Which, yeah, I didn't exactly apologize, but for what? I don't know, man. Just because your wife needs you to. Fuck it, you know? You're letting all your pride and ego get in the way. Just hug her. Apologize for not being there and try to do better in the future. Is that so very hard? I guess it is for some people. Then she asks for the number to my daughter's piano teacher. The piano teacher was the only activity that I managed for my kids. I found out she texted her asking to go through my wife from now on, as she will be managing the schedule. Normally my wife would text me asking if I could get my daughter from dance on the way home yesterday. I do this every week. I didn't hear anything, and when I got home I found out my wife dropped and picked her up. I confronted my wife with, I'm very present with my children. You don't need to make me out to be an absent father. And my wife responded with, if I didn't manage and ask you for help, you'd see them a quarter of the time you do now. And I'm done managing you. Damn, this is some deep type of vitriol. It's also hilarious that OP, despite picking up the kid from dance every week, didn't get the text, so he didn't do it this week. Like, I would go there and freak out that she's not there. He's just like, I'll head on home and then I'll have the freak out. What is this? OP says, I get it. I should have just smiled and agreed when she asked for help, but this is extreme. She's having a fit and trying to ice me out of my relationship with my kids. It's so petty. It's like I don't even know this woman. Gone is the reasonable, level-headed communicator. So if you made it this far, thank you. And please, please tell me if I'm wrong here. You're both wrong. I can't say who's more, but you guys both need to apologize to each other. Makeup. Is it worth giving up 7 years of marriage? Is it? Let's read the top comment here. Your wife is not trying to ice you out of your relationship with your kids. You have that backwards. She's been trying to prevent you from icing yourself out of a relationship with your kids, and now she's done putting in that effort. Seriously, why the ever-loving slarted Bartfast does she need to remind you every week to pick up your daughter after dance? Why? Yeah, that's the funny part to me too. No text, he's just like, okay, I'll head on home, I guess. Did it not occur to you to use the calendar on that spiffy smartphone you no doubt own and set an ongoing reminder for the pickups? That's a pretty strong indicator that you seriously don't care about spending any mental energy on your family and expect your wife to be your personal secretary. You're not her boss and she's not your servant. You are in fact supposed to be her partner, not another child for her to manage. It's definitely not about the Iranian yogurt, which is a reference to another infamous Am I the Asshole post, which we might get into someday. But I can't go any deeper down this rabbit hole. I think all of that was very well said. Let's get back to the main post. Things have not gone back to normal. My wife used to include me in parenting our kids. I mean, it's your kid. You can parent them all by yourself. You know that, right? I did dance pickup most weeks. Oh, most weeks. I thought it was every week. And bedtime was split. I gave baths, made dinner, all the stuff. Since our fight, my wife hasn't asked me for any help with the kids. The first morning, I woke up on what was supposed to be my morning with the kids. I figured she was just being nice or trying to prove a point, but it keeps happening. She didn't even send them down to say goodnight last night. Normally, my wife does this silly game where she sends my 5-year-old son to ask me to read 5 books, and then we'd negotiate down to 1 or 2 and race upstairs. Last night, I heard her racing him and came up to find her doing bedtime yet again. And the kids haven't even noticed. It's like she's replacing me. Well, you haven't been replaced quite yet. Uncle Chad hasn't moved into the house at this point. Maybe we could wind it back. But OP doesn't even care about winding it back. He's just like, it should go back to the way it was without me having to put it forth any effort. Like, go upstairs and tell your kids goodnight, you know? They don't have to come to your office to pay homage or whatever the fuck. Given that sort of context, maybe you should be replaced. Anyway, when we were fighting, I said something really, really dumb that's living inside me and festering. My wife was being nasty and said, you wouldn't see your kids a quarter as much as you do if I didn't arrange it and I'm done managing you. I defended myself. I'm not an absent parent. And I said something along the lines of, I'd like to see how long you could manage without me. Oh, we didn't quite get that in the first post, did we? And now, yes, she is definitely doing it out of spite. It's never going to stop unless you have a conversation about it or move the fuck out and sign the divorce papers. OP says, consider my foot officially in my mouth. She started running again. She's cooking really healthy and often. Every night I come home to my perfectly happy Stepford wife doing it all without me, and I feel empty inside. I mean, she's always been a Stepford wife. It's probably easier for her now that she doesn't have to manage you as well as the kids. Like, it's kind of a messed up thing to do, but neither of you seems willing to talk this through. OP asks, how do I fix this? I don't even know where to begin. At this point, I want to beg her to go back to the way things were. This wasn't what we agreed on. Edit. Damn, guys, I get it. I'm a piece of crap. I'm gonna make this right. Well, you're gonna try. Edit 2. Thank you to the handful of people that reached out with advice. Believe it or not, I do want to be a good father and husband. I've royally messed up and I see it and fully admit it. Well, there you go. First step to recovery, but you got a lot more steps to go. This is going to be my only edit, and then I'm going to get off my phone for a while and focus my attention on my family. Yeah, seems like a big revelation for you, huh? My wife had dinner cooked when I got home. Everything is fine between us, so there wasn't any tension. After we cleaned up, I went upstairs and ran my wife a bath, put Taylor Swift on her Alexa, lit a few candles, and I told her to go upstairs for the night and relax. She was surprised, but smiled and went on her way. I'm currently on the toilet watching my kids take a bath. People mention love bombing, etc., but I'm just trying to do anything I can to show her I appreciate and love her and our family, and I want to be a present father. I'm going to do bedtime tonight and probably all next week. I'll tell her if she does so much during the day, she deserves the break because that's the truth. I get that I come off as an a-hole. I grew up in a not great situation and didn't have the best role models growing up. I'm terrified of my children not having enough, and I overcompensate by working too much. This new job came with a big pay increase, but the hours are longer, and I feel like I can never keep up. I've reached out to a few recruiters tonight. I used to love my job and would always be home by 4:30. Even if it means taking the lost income, I'm thinking about going back. Well, all this ain't too bad. Seems like a little shift in priorities. I do believe this OP can learn and grow. Just what I wanted all along. The most hopeful post yet! OP continues, relationships are hard, and humans aren't perfect. And for all the people telling me my kids don't love me and I'm a waste of space, I don't know, guys, just remember I'm an actual person. That shit's pretty rough. Anyway, that's all I have for you folks. I need to watch these kids and start planning out my long road of groveling and reconnecting. Thanks, all. I mean, kids will love you no matter what. You don't need to let people get in your head about that shit. As far as being a waste of space, not completely. You do make the money, don't you?
We've got to have money.
Sometimes it is good to give a little bit more, though. OP does have an update here. Lied about the last edit thing, haha. On February 18th. It's a little bit after Valentine's Day, isn't it? You gonna tell me about your Valentine's Day thing? It's been a minute since I bothered with Reddit, but when I logged in, it seemed like some people care for an update. It's not exciting. I've taken the time to really look at the man I've become. My wife and I are 100% back to being a team, but I realized I wasn't stepping up the way that I always wanted to. I promised my wife a partnership, and even though it's been a month or so since our fight and my wife keeps asking me to, quote, forget that it happened, I can't. My therapist is helping me sort through my overthinking. My wife started therapy because of the stress losing her work temporarily and staying home has caused her. Her issues appear to stem from feeling useless without bringing in a paycheck and taking on too many tasks at home to overcompensate. Hot damn, that is so like my wife too. I tell her to chill out, don't worry about it, you're doing the thing you're supposed to do. And she's like, the laundry's not done. It's like, it'll get done. It's fine. You want to pay somebody to come do the laundry? Do it. We used to pay somebody to do it, actually, but my wife's sort of a perfectionist, so that person, they lost their job.
You're fired.
OP continues, wife doesn't feel like she deserves breaks, and when she takes them, she feels awful about herself and like she's quote-unquote lazy. And that's coming from the least lazy person I know. I can tell she's struggling, and I've been supporting her the best that I can. I often make sure she knows that I think she deserves breaks. So when I see her hyperfixating on cleaning the floorboards, I intervene gently by reminding her that this doesn't need doing right now, but that I'll finish it for her while she does me a favor and takes a little break. Sometimes it works, other times she tells me to stop fussing and leave her to the work. And I do. It's working well, and I don't mind the extra work for the peace of mind that it offers me. My wife is everything, and her happiness is paramount. There you go. Now we're getting it. Happy wife, happy life.
Right, wife. Life good.
This woman is willing to give up every part of herself for you, and all she wants is a little reciprocation. I'm glad to see that you're delivering on it now, OP. This is learning and growing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. My kids are mostly clueless to all this, of course. We don't involve them, and I must say, I made a throwaway comment about my wife not loving child rearing. It did make me laugh, but I know you don't really mean it. Like, if you didn't love it that much, you wouldn't have the kids. You would have been like, oh yeah, it's an accident, blah, blah, blah. But no, you're willing to put yourself through the child rearing part in order to get some of your progeny out there in the world. And I think that's good. That's admirable. I grew up a whole shit ton once I became a father. And even then, that's still ongoing. Anyway, OP says, we received a lot of nasty comments about not having kids we don't want. I'm weary to dignify this with a response, but I will say that what I meant was that we agreed before having children that my wife would not be the sole support system for them, and that she would not feel obligated to quit working. My wife is fiercely independent due to her past, and a big part of her comfort in our relationship comes from her ability to leave it safely if she ever needed to. That trauma is hers, and I won't touch more on it than to say that I agreed to this aspect before we married, and I don't mind it. She should be an independent person. I'd want the same thing for my kids. You can pick anything for your kids, and that's what you want? I want my kids to win the lottery, and I want them to break me off at least half.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Anyway, that's basically it. I've taken on the role of primary parent. I get my kids to daycare and school and home, and my wife helps half the time. It's now my responsibility to see who's doing what and coordinate things. I can't do it all in my head like her, but I have a chart that's been helping. She rebelled at first, but gave up the reins surprisingly easy. She needed a break. I also put my son back in full-time daycare, although my wife keeps springing him early. I can tell that she likes the break. That's all I have for now. Thanks, guys, and sorry it's not more dramatic. I know some of y'all wanted my balls and were hopeful my wife would leave me. Well, I would be lost without her, and the thought makes me physically ill. It's nice to see people appreciating my wife the way she deserves and standing up for her so fiercely, so thank you all. Damn, OP did come out of this one smelling like roses, didn't he? It's taking accountability, it's taking the steps to turn it all around. Swear to God, I love to see it, man. One last thing, I bought her the game Pal World on the computer. She hasn't gamed since having kids because of some preconceived conclusion about it making her a bad parent, but I insisted she spend a few hours since I'd spent the money anyways, and she did. I find her playing a lot to wind down when the day is over. It seems to help her feel more herself too, so Thank you, video games! I'll stand for a lot of assumptions on my character, and boy, there have been some nasty ones, but one thing I won't take is people saying that I don't love my wife. She's my person, and it's my duty in life to make her happy. Love that, dude. You were just going about it in the wrong way. You're like, it's all about the money, but no, she needs some of your time too. I'll admit to you that I have a bit of trouble balancing it every now and again, but that's when the open and honest conversation needs to happen. Both you break down and cry and hold each other and promise to do better and apologize for ever being angry about something so small because the other person matters to you more than the world. You know what I mean? Kind of a mushy, goopy ending, but sometimes I like that. I came in here ready to take OP's balls off too, but it turned out better than we could have imagined. It's a nice way to end the episode. We front-loaded the stress for once. Good. Great. I was already drinking a lot because she drank, and that was something we did together, but at this point, I started drinking more. Yeah, that'll fix it.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
I, 34 male, dated, with quotes around it, an employee of mine, 19 female, and got far more than I bargained for. Yeah, that age gap's a hell of a thing, isn't it? So many dudes out here like, I don't understand why you'd go for older chicks and stuff like that. It's like, younger girls are annoying, dude. That's really what it's about. I want to be able to hang out with you for an extended period, and we just have nothing to connect on. Anyway, the year is 2019. OP had just left his executive chef position at a hotel and started a general manager position at a small town restaurant. At some point, I hired her as a server. She's 19, vibrant, energetic, beautiful, and a bit flirty, especially with me. We maintain a casual, flirty friendship for some time, and then one day, she invites me to go fishing with her on the weekend. I love fishing, and I secretly adored her. I couldn't resist. You could have resisted if you were thinking with the big head instead of the little one, but I don't know, if you're a single guy, go find out, you know? You might regret it, but it might work out great, but probably you will regret it. We had a nice date out on the river fishing. We didn't catch much, but we drank some beers and had a good time. Later that evening, I took her to a Mexican restaurant and we had margaritas and tacos. Afterward, I took her back to my work, which was directly across the street from where we were eating. I didn't want to go far because we'd been drinking. How responsible. And then we fucked right in my office. How irresponsible.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to sign off on that. First date? Wow. Just a couple of troubled individuals making smush. And then OP makes it even weirder and says, I had the CCTV footage for the longest time, but at some point she got a hold of my phone and deleted it, so that kind of sucked. I mean, it was just for your own personal use. It's still weird. It's still weird. Like if she had agreed to it or it was her idea, hey, let's do something crazy and film it, then I'd be like, all right, consenting adults, you do what you do. But for, like, the CCTVs to happen to catch it, you probably didn't even tell her that you had the video, did you? Did you? You are one weird fucking guy. What is it about restaurants, you know? The cooks are crazy, but, like, at least I can kind of vibe with them. And then there's always a manager that's dating, like, a server that's almost too young. It's just one of those things. Those restaurant things. The restaurant people know. I only truly know because I watched a Ryan Reynolds film called Waiting.
Just so you know, I'm only a minor for another week. I turn 18 on Wednesday.
Well, then I guess I better hurry up then.
Anyway, Creepy OP continues on. We did this whole whirlwind romance thing. I was instantly infatuated with her. Besides being extremely attractive to me, she was so fun and a joy to be around. Yeah, because she's just become an adult. This is all really new and novel to her, you know? Like in the US, she can't even drink yet. Oh, man. OP continues. I loved her energy and enthusiasm for everything, even the most mundane things. Yeah, she's like, aren't those flowers pretty? And he's like, what an idiot. Yeah, sure, honey. Let's go home and bang it out again. I'm really having a picture painted for me here. OP says, I went over to her house several times and met her family. It was kind of a shithole, but but I felt welcome there most of the time. Yeah, until the point that they hear you refer to it as a shithole. They're like, hey, could you get the hell out of here? I'm not asking. Anyway, in a short amount of time, I wound up setting her up on my phone plan and renting an apartment with her. Wow, things are getting pretty serious, huh? I later got her a car.
Sugar fathers for sugar babies with daddy issues.
Yeah, happy sweet 16, darling. OP says, I got invested way too quickly. You, sir, are an idiot. You make bad decision after bad decision, and at the end of it all, he's probably going to be like, it was totally her fault. You see where it's going, don't you? I don't even want it to stop, to be honest. This time I find it rich and creamy. OP says, I still had my own place, but it was an hour or so away. I found it easier to crash right there with her, as it was close to where we both worked. Then why are you still, what's the other place? You just on a lease? Are you stupid? Anyway, skipping ahead a few months, I caught her cheating on me in this apartment that I was renting for her. Oh my god, who would have ever seen that coming? Like, WTF, lol. How did I find out? There was rubbers in the bathroom garbage can that weren't mine, because I wasn't using any. Well, she made him use a rubber. That's respectful, isn't it? I confronted her, she denied it, and I dropped it for a while. You let that go? You're just like, okay, I'll continue paying the apartment. This is what fucking simpery has done to the modern male. Do you realize? This is all your own fault. You're choosing it every time, and then you're like, don't you feel bad for me, Reddit? No! You're an idiot! Wake up and smell the fucking garbage. And indeed, the dumpster fire continues. OP says a short time later, she's trying to let an old friend stay with her for a while. I tried to play it cool, but I knew. What are you even trying to play it cool for at this point? I wound up getting the guy alone on the balcony one night. We drank and talked. Anna came up, that's her name, by the way, and I made him aware of our relationship. He evidently had no idea and admitted that, yeah, they were doing it when I wasn't around. He had to know, but good on him for coming clean. They could have both probably gaslighted the hell out of OP, and he'd be like, maybe it is just an old friend. Maybe I should pay for them to live there for the next 20 years. I paid for my girlfriend's wedding to her old friend because she was at one point 19 and hot. She's a vapid individual. She's done nothing but wrong to you, but she's so pretty, though. You're stupid. You're a fucking idiot. Anyway, OP thanks dude for his honesty, and they traded numbers. He warned me off in saying that this was just sort of how she was. You can't tell. The chick that let you bang it out on the first date. If she's doing that with a 34-year-old schlub like you, this ain't her first time doing it, okay? Anyway, he was gone the next day, never to be seen again. Well, at least he had some standards, you know? At least purportedly. Never seen again is like, okay, OP didn't see him. But OP's kind of oblivious, isn't he? OP says, I didn't listen to that guy. I confronted her once again, and we had this whole knockdown, drag-out argument about it, and she eventually copped to it and promised to stop. Never again. I love you. Yada yada. Spoiler alert, it didn't end. It only got worse. Yep, seen it endless times before, honestly. Why even go back? Why have the argument? This is not going to be fixed. Save your energy. Focus on somebody who actually gives a shit about you. But ReddX, you don't understand, she's so hot. Yes, and inside she's a black hole. She's going to take every ounce of anything you got. Self-respect, money, willpower. She's a succubus, bro. At the end of the day, you're letting yourself get used. And I want you to notice on that statement how there's no victim blamers in the comment. Like, you're blaming him for his own... He's like, yeah, he's partially culpable. What do you want from me? If you swap the genders in this video, this shit would really go hard. Absolutely insane. Anyway, OP says that he was paranoid now. See all this wasted energy? I started secretly getting on her phone. Quit playing on my phone! It was way, way worse than I ever thought. She was on seeking arrangements, banging old dudes for money, basically. I sabotaged her in many of these relationships, and she still just wouldn't stop. And she didn't break up with me either. It was weird. Yeah, because you're sitting there eating a shit sandwich every day. You're paying her rent. What reason is there to break up? He puts up with it. She gets a little pocket money from all the random dongs from the internet. And still you don't have the self-respect to walk away. It's really weird to me, dude. I know you're one of those middle management types, but truly how bad do you hate yourself? At this point, I sort of lost it. I was already drinking a lot because she drank, and that was something we did together, but at this point, I started drinking more. Yeah, that'll fix it.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
I wound up getting a DUI and just spiraling out over all of this BS. Lost my job, went to jail for 30 days, which seemed like forever. I thought when I got out, I'd finally be free of her. Nah, dude. You're the meal ticket, bro. She's not letting that one go. And in a way, I guess it is sort of convenient for you because you don't have to take any responsibility for the DUI. You're just like, she made me do it. She made me do it with her actions. No. At the end of the day, this was all your choice, all right? And 30 days in jail ain't shit. I did 6 months. That feels like forever. Now imagine doing like 20, 30 years. God damn. I'd take myself out before I get locked up again, for real. Anyway, as expected, there she was, leaning against my car at midnight 30 on the night that I got out. We hadn't spoken the entire time I was in, so I was completely floored to see her there. And we had this great big coming to Jesus chat, and our relationship began its renaissance. But a few weeks later, she was at it again. I'm so surprised. Truly, how many times can you have the wool pulled over your eyes? Do you have a picture of this girl? Because she's got to be like just radiantly hot in order for you to put up with all this bullshit, dude. Even when you got out of jail, that was your chance to be like, you didn't talk to me the entire 30 days I was in. Get the fuck out of here. But you didn't. You're like, oh, everything will be different this time. Third time's the charm, right? Third time just means you're twice an idiot. OP says, at this point, I'm just like, look, if this is what you're gonna do, let me be part of it. Ew. Oh, God.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! No! Oh, God!
This is how he started a certain lifestyle. They get the bed and he gets the chair in the corner. She agreed, and we started meeting random guys to do her. This is so weird. What? I want to get off the ride. We often used Tinder, but later graduated to seeking arrangements. I knew she was still using that on the side anyway. Sometimes she got money out of this, and when she did, she shared it with me. Hey, well, there's something. I pimped out my own girlfriend. At least we're making a few bucks out of the deal. What was the cost? Only my dignity. OP says, I was starting to get into it. I was starting to like it. Sharing what I had and having her afterwards. Ugh. I don't know. It was kind of hot. Dude, we're not going to make it, are we? I mean, humans. The internet has ruined us irrevocably. I'm sure these things went on in the 60s, the 70s, but now it's all just so public. You have to share your thoughts on it. You only liked it because you didn't really have a choice in the matter. It's either that or break up with her, and I could never break up with her. She's just so hot. So instead, I'll just let other bunch of dudes bang her, and we can pretend that we're in on it together. It's so weird, man. You've made your own bed. Now lie down in it and burn. OP said, maybe I just had Stockholm Syndrome, lol. Yeah, which again, you chose. You could have walked away. And yeah, again, where are the comments accusing me of victim blaming? I am blaming him. He's clearly party to this now more than ever, right? OP said, not long after this is when I found out that she was smoking crystal. Oh, good. That'll add another complex layer to the will they, won't they? OP says, this is about a year into our relationship. I don't think she was doing it the whole time that she was seeing me. I think an old girlfriend of hers reintroduced her to it. Yeah, that girlfriend was just a dude with a lady's name. I'm gonna hang out with the Robin, and you're like, oh, that's probably a girl. Might be a guy, though. And OP's just too beaten down to even try to fight back at all. Just a wormy little human being that thought he was getting the short end of the stick. He's like, hey, this is great. Like, yeah, she really took it for a ride, huh? Anyway, girlfriend then induced OP to Crystal, and he says, I didn't like it at first. It didn't seem to do much for me. I've been like an opiate guy in the past, but this was different. It eventually grew on me, and that's when the real craziness began. We really just refused to make any, like, even one intelligent choice in the whole fucking story. I'm amazed. I'm mystified. There's a paragraph here. It involves OP living in a hotel and having monetary exchanges with strangers with his girlfriend, but it gets a little bit too explicit for YouTube. I'm not going to chance non-members either, so you can look the post up if you want to read it. But yeah, suffice to say, it makes OP look like even more of a complete beta. After several months of doing that sort of thing, funds inevitably began to dry out, because I didn't have a job anymore, remember? Yeah, who needs one of those? Oh, except if you want to buy things. At some point, she ran off with one of her dates. I was devastated, but I used this time to start putting myself back together. I got a new chef job at a hospital, and things were starting to become better for me. What do you want to bet she appears one last time? I'm taking bets for real. In comments, in live chat, let me know what you think before the video continues. Okay, we're continuing. A few months later, here she comes right back. We all knew. Me, unable to resist, fell right back into her. What is wrong with you? You both have like some severe issues with self-sabotaging, you know that? You need to speak to a therapist desperately. I don't care if you go together or separate, but both of you, therapy. Please. We went back to banging in hotels all night, and it was at this point that I really started to get into the whole filming aspect and took a lot of videos of her and the other dudes, and it was all just like this fun game that we couldn't stop playing. Yes. This game in particular is called Ruin My Life and Careers Prospects. Then one day, again, she disappeared without saying a word, and she moved to another state. I later found out that she ran off with her dealer. I tracked her down, and we had a few more fun nights, but he eventually found out, and at that point, I was done. Wait, stick a gun in your face or what? I was not going to keep driving 6 hours to bang her in a hotel room while she was seeing and lying to someone else. But hey, now you get to be the other guy, right? Is the grass greener now? Oh, it's all dead and barren. It has been for a long time. Okay, well, probably we should have seen that earlier. Finally, reality begins to dawn. At this point, I felt like the relationship had run its course. I was finally done. And then, little by little, I slowly started to face the ice out of my life. Not just the Ice Queen, but the Crystal too, right? Good boy. Back on the straight and narrow now. Try to forget about the horrible, horrible things we've seen. I didn't have the same connections as she did, so I had a harder time getting a hold of it anyway. I had a little more fun with a couple of rebound girls, and then eventually I quit. For good. Then I picked up all the pieces and started putting my life back together. Yes, quite a derailment. Quite a little detour that you took there. What was the reason that you made that choice again? She was so hot, dude, bro. You don't understand. She ruined your entire life. You definitely participated in it, but she was the catalyst. Anyway, I found out a year or so later that her and her new boyfriend got arrested for trafficking. I have their mugshots. That was satisfying AF, not gonna lie, lol. The end. TLDR, I blew up my whole life to get milk-sopped by some toxic teenage hottie who worked for me. As bad as it was, I still can't stop thinking about what an exciting time that was. I still watch the videos we made. Sometimes. Nothing else has ever seemed half as interesting. I fear that I'm ruined. Yes, and that's because you have this weird relationship with self-sabotage. That's why I was advocating you to get into therapy earlier, if you'll recall. I think one of the parts that tickled me the most when he's like, oh my god, she's out here banging old dudes for money. And it's like, yeah, including you. You're almost twice her age. You're an old dude. You're renting her apartment. You were never anything to her except, like, the most gullible mark there ever was. I'm glad eventually you could wake up and smell the roses, but, like, even the driving 6 hours to be with her and stuff, like, I'm mystified. I don't understand why you would do this to yourself. There were so many unignorable red flags, and still we just press on forward. But I guess when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, red flags just look like flags. It might be green. It might be telling me to go ahead and drive 6 hours and chase her down and fight with her dealer. My God, man. The weirdest part is that I don't hear, like, any true resentment in the post, which is, yeah, strange to say the least. He found his meth head manic pixie dream girl. And he's just like, yeah, that's the point that I want to live at for the rest of my life. Remember when I was 34 and got to stick it in a stupid teenager? Yeah, whoopee-doo. But I guess for some people, things like that truly, truly matter. And that's how I know you're a very shallow and vapid individual. Anyway, episode time, maybe a little bit short. Maybe we get into something else. This one from r/true off my chest. And it features a bit of light stalking. That's how it ties into the first story. Not a 6-hour drive. Although I'm sure this girl in particular wishes she could get much further away than that. Anyway, let's see what the story's all about right now. I wrote my ex letters for years. Fate reunited us, and now I'm blocked again. Wow, that's so weird. How did that happen with the blocking and all? Must have been a glitch or something. Not that she just doesn't want to interface with you anymore. Anyway, 3 years ago, I met my ex on Omegle. Yeah, that's where all great relationships start, isn't it? We bonded over long conversations, despite disagreeing on music. We quickly made a strong bond and started dating, even though we both cringed at the idea of an online relationship. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. I tend to agree. At least you're self-aware about it. Anyway, early on I learned that she had a traumatic past, but I was too immature and overconfident to realize how emotionally draining her struggles would be. Eventually the relationship took its toll on me, and though I loved her, I made the decision to break up with her, a choice she fought against, but I stood firm. To this day, I regret it. Well, at least you're smart enough to regret it, I guess. After our breakup, I was involved with other girls and managed to forget her for a while, but by the end of the year I realized that none of them compared to her. Yeah, real manic pixie dream girl vibes. Again. Limerence, that's what they call it. You're infatuated. She's not different, it's chemicals in your brain that tell you otherwise. Anyway, she had everything I wanted, from her looks to her personality, but I hadn't appreciated it while we were together. That's right, this time I'll do different. This time your traumatic past won't be emotionally draining for me. Why? What's changed? Nothing? Okay. Opie says, this all led me to start sending her letters through her P.O. box, which I had from when I had once sent her a game that I wanted her to play. In my first letter, I expressed how much I missed her and mentioned dating other girls after our breakup to forget her, but it didn't work. Yeah, you generally don't want to mention the other girls. It's not a great game plan. She replied with a cold, egocentric tone, which was understandable, given how badly we ended things. Yeah, surely she's the only egocentric one here, OP. Notice you've only talked about her so far in terms of her utility, what she can do for you, how it's inconvenient to you that you're in this relationship, and yet you want her back for some reason?
Are you fucking dumb?
Are you stupid or something? I guess the actual question is, how stupid are you? Despite her response, the fact that she replied at all kept me writing more letters. 3 months later, I sent another letter, again admitting I missed her and feeling ashamed for reaching out. She replied in the same distant tone, this time pointing out the mistakes in our relationship and also how short it was. Yeah, it's just an online relationship. Fucking get over it, dude. When she didn't respond to my third letter, I became obsessed, sending more and more letters in the hopes that she would reply, but she never did. Despite my efforts, I never got another reply. And you would hope that would wrap the entire post, wouldn't you? Just, oh, he learned his lesson, he moved on his way. Except he definitely didn't. I will change locations here for privacy reasons. My parents and I were going on a field trip to Texas. My ex lived all the way in California, so she was hundreds of miles apart from where I was at, adding also the specific city that I was in. Yeah, that's how distances tend to work, isn't it? I decided to go to one of the shopping malls from the city. I was coming out of a store when I saw a girl that looked exactly like my ex walk from the other side of the mall floor. I was so astonished by the similarities that I followed her direction just to make sure that it wasn't her. Yeah, fucking right, dude. You were hoping that it was. I just need to confirm that it's not. Nobody's buying that. As I was getting closer, I slowly started to realize that it was actually her. Okay, now that you've confirmed it, one way or the other, it's time to turn around and go home, isn't it? He's not going to, is he? I was panicking very badly. My heart was beating very fast, but I was thinking to myself, even if it isn't her, you gotta go talk to her. Do you? Since I wasn't 100% sure, I started mentally preparing myself to do a simple cold approach before assuming anything. Since she was with her parents, I had to wait for her to go to one of the stores by herself so that I could talk to her. Yeah, and she probably clocked you while you were skulking around. When she went into a store by herself, I went in, approached, and asked for her name. She then said, "Wait, are you OP?" And I replied, "Yes! No way, it's you!" I asked why she was there. She was visiting for a softball tournament. She told me that she already knew that I was in Texas because of her friends, who I became friends with when we were together, and it showed our Snap locations being in the same city. We had such a good conversation, although it was cut short because of her needing to return to her parents. Or maybe because she was a little freaked out, right? I told her how relieved I was to see her, and she told me that she was very happy and surprised to see me. After that, she unblocked me on Instagram. I told her I was going to text her, and she replied very well to the text, and we began to have a conversation. Hey, sweet. Now, what'd you do to make it weird?
Tell them to send a dick pic. Girls love that. Especially when it comes out of nowhere with, like, zero context.
This was like a dream come true for me. I even felt that was like a higher calling for us to end up together. Oh, delusions of grandeur, huh? I was the happiest I'd ever been. It didn't even feel real. This is where I'm confused. After one of her replies, I asked if she wanted to try a fresh start with me. I waited days for her to respond. I knew from the first day she ignored that message that she wasn't going to reply, since she's the type to reply quickly or never reply. Yeah, I'm sort of that same archetype. A couple weeks go by, still without saying anything. I check her profile and poof! I'm fucking blocked again. Yeah, she wanted to maintain the friendship. She's not looking to do relationship with you. You already pulled your whole ass out. What do you expect? OP says, I don't know what to do anymore. At this point, I've written her one last letter asking, why? If I don't get a reply, I'll leave it as is, but this situation has literally ruined most of my life. Wow, literally? That's crazy, bro. I need advice. I've heard my English sounds a bit too formal at times. I'm not a native speaker, and I'm still learning English from college, so my apologies for any bad phrasing. I'm going to put this in the flattest terms that I can and say that you are a certified mental case, sir. You broke her heart walking away, and then she put the wall up, blocked you, told you to stop, and despite all of that, you see her at a mall randomly, and you're like, oh, the universe must be trying to put us together. I don't know what the purpose for all that was, but I can tell you, you're not the romantic hero in this story, okay? You're the crazy stalker ex that won't leave this woman alone. Even after the second time blocking you because you brought up some shit she didn't want to talk about, you're still like, how can I twist it around? How can I continue coming after her? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're a certified fucking psycho and you need to go to therapy as soon as possible. This is not love, not even a semblance of love. This is simply obsession. She met a boy online and they had their little fling and broke up because you couldn't handle her baggage. So she moved on, assumed you did too, and then her P.O. box starts filling up with letters from some psychopath. She ends up in a different state, and still, there you are. You gotta see it from her perspective at some point. I hope she gets a restraining order, because I'm pretty sure that's the next step if you don't, turn it down a notch or 10. This whole thing is never going to happen, and that is because of your actions. You have regret about breaking up in the first place? Good! Lots of people do. You know what we do? We get the fuck over it. Just because women are quiet doesn't mean that they want you to leave it alone. When they're quiet, that just means that they're plotting on you.
Don't you get it? You gotta use reverse psychology. That sounds too complicated.
Hello, friends. Trace amounts of science. Am I the beehole for making my ex-wife pay me for a car seat? Nah, you can take that succubus to the bank, ring her out for all I care. All you got out of her is a car seat? You need to squeeze her a little harder. Take her to court or something. What? I'm not bitter. Don't look at me like that. Okay, let's see what the story is. This is a throwaway account, as my brother-in-law is active on Reddit. I, 38 male, split from my wife, 39 female, almost 3 months ago. We have 2 kids, and this post is about our son, 5 male. It wasn't the worst of breakups, but it definitely wasn't my choice to do so, and I hate how she went about it. We'd been struggling for a few years, and yeah, I admit I probably could have tried harder in couples therapy and stuff, but she basically up and left one day, saying that she was tired of trying. Anyway, not to get too deep here, but basically, I think the way that she left was fucked up. This is relevant later. I mean, it takes 2 to tango, you know, she didn't leave for no reason. Okay, the way she did it, not great, but I'm sure she has plenty of things to say about your lack of commitment to the situation, and I don't know what the hell went on in couples therapy, but it apparently didn't go the way that she wanted it to. Since our son is so young, he still needs a car seat. When she left, she drove off with the car seat, leaving me without one for my son. I was pissed and wanted it back, but she said that since she's still the one doing all the school drop-offs and pickups, I was out of luck, and passing it back and forth all the time meant that she couldn't set boundaries with me. Okay, whatever. So I had to go buy a new one so that I could spend time with my son. But what I didn't know is that at the same time, she asked her sister, my sister-in-law, to give me her spare car seat. Her sister had a daughter who died unexpectedly a few years ago when she was about 4. Jesus, dude. Super sorry to hear that. However, I had already bought a car seat, so I ended up with 2 car seats after her sister dropped it off when I wasn't home. Yeah, so just return the one you bought. I don't... What's the problem? You threw away the receipt, didn't you? Well, store credit's the best we could do. A couple of weeks ago, my ex's car was broken into and everything was stolen, including the car seat that she took. She texted me and asked me to drop off her niece's old car seat at our next handover. But I didn't think that was fair. She left me. She took the car seat. My God, you literally are just a fucking child. It's not about you or the car seat or her. It's about the life that you've brought into this world, okay? Does that not register for you on any level? Your genetic purpose is... You're only still on this earth to make sure that that kid makes it, turns into a functional human being. And the example that you're setting is not helping with all that, okay? You want to know why your wife left you? Because of stupid baby bullshit like this. Ugh. OP says, I didn't make her sister or her give me a free car seat. And now that her car seat was stolen, I didn't see why it was my problem. Because you don't want your child to die in a car accident, presumably. What? What the fuck, man?
Use your brain! Use your brain! The thing in your head, use it!
She also could have used her niece's old car seat when she first left, but she chose to take the one in the car. Yeah, well, definitely put your child's life in danger as retribution against your wife that you're upset at for... I hate this. So I told her I would only bring it back if she paid me for it. Her sister gave it to me, so it's mine now. No one else's. I told her she could buy it off me for $100. It costs way more than that on the market. Or she could buy another one of her own. Just complete man-child vibes, dude. Do you really need the $100 that bad, or it's just about sending a message? Let me tell you something, it's the wrong message to send. If ever you hoped she'd come crawling back, now she won't. The bridge has been burned forever. She was just tired, but now she's actively pissed. And OP says as much. She was pissed, but eventually sent me the money and I brought her the car seat. I thought this was fair and equal, considering what she did. Yeah, half a decade of marriage, that'll cost you about $100. But my ex-sister-in-law, who I actually always liked and was sort of maintaining a relationship with, has now stopped talking or texting me since this, saying that I'm out of line, and that if her daughter were alive today, she would be disappointed in me. Jesus. Well, I think we're all disappointed in OP, honestly. This is just like the lowest of the low for no reason whatsoever. And he doesn't understand why the sister-in-law would stop talking to him. I really don't think I did anything unfair, and was just maintaining the boundaries that my ex asked for. It's also extra effed to me that a dead girl is being used to shame me when I did nothing wrong in the first place, and my ex is the one who got us here. So, am I the asshole? A resounding yes. Absolutely. Like the 4-year-old daughter that died, 4 years old is old enough to understand what's going on if you sat down and explained the situation. And a 4-year-old would probably be like, well, why don't you guys just share it? Because I'm an adult and it's the principle of the thing. I'm a big adult man, so I have to act like a little baby over it. Like I said, I think the marriage could have come back together until you decided to take this road. It's really dumb. Really extra stupid fucking dumb. OP says, edit. Okay, I get it. I'm the a-hole in this case, but she left me. Yeah, I'm still the victim here. Don't you guys forget it. She did this to herself. She's forcing me to put in the same boundaries that she's insisting on. I don't get why people can't see this. Only one guy at work seems to understand how messed up she is. I'm sure she has some things going on, but so do you, buddy. Quite a little bit. I like how he said in the beginning, like, oh, it was an amicable breakup. What was his words? It wasn't the worst of breakups. I mean, yeah, you made it just that much more worse. And you want to take no accountability for it. Oh, this is her fault for leaving me. Well, she probably left you because you do things like this. Do you understand? There's no compromise. There's no two-way street here. So good. I'm glad she's up and out. I hope she never has to deal with you ever again. Unless, you know, dropping the kid off or, I don't know, Christmas presents or whatever the hell people do. I don't know. My parents got divorced. Stepdad was like, I'm out. He went to Guatemala. I got the divorce, but no 2 Christmases. What a ripoff. OP at least got 2 car seats, but he doesn't even want to recognize how blessed he is, you know? Doesn't want to spread the wealth around. You have to give me $100. What a moron. He got me good and heated under the collar, though, so I like that. At least on some... I mean, I hate it, but I also love it. We'll just move on to the next post and see if anything else today can hold a candle to whatever the hell that was. This title does sound like it compete. It's from r/off my chest, and it's titled, I think I broke my wife. Oh, that's never good. Are you trying to set me up for the boomer joke about upgrading to a newer model now? Because I'm not going to do it. I'm a classy gentleman, all right? Unless she stole a car seat from me, and then you gotta give me $100. I'm still stuck. Sorry. OP says, I am on here because apparently this is the place to come when you need unsolicited advice from internet strangers. I, 28 male, have been married to my wife, 30 female, for a decade at this point. For the story's sake, let's just call my wife Mary. Fake name, of course. She is the light of my life. Everything she does it with such a sweet and giving heart, and I really do wonder sometimes how I got so lucky when I look at her. God, you preaching the choir right now, OP. I got a little earth angel myself, and let me tell you, she saved me. She saved me from myself. It was going down a real bad road, and somehow she turned it all around. Turned me into something resembling an almost human. Almost. Things have not been so great through this past year. It seems like the two of us just cannot catch a break. Mary had started to pull away little by little, becoming more and more distant with me when she started her new job last year. Uh-oh, she's banging the boss. No, probably not. It's normal, it's fine. I knew that she was stressed, constantly on edge about deadlines, projects, and of course trying to juggle our household, so I left well enough alone and let her deal with what she needed to deal with. I don't think that's the play. I think she's looking for some help but doesn't want to ask. Try and insert yourself somewhere and see if that fixes matters. No, you don't insert yourself there. Now's not the time for that. Come on, OP. Anyway, as time progressed, though, and she followed into the new year with this job, her mood started to deteriorate. She became more irritable, short, and to the point that when we talked, if I asked about her day, she would look at me as she dropped her bag on the counter and just say, "It was work." That's very me. And then she stalked off to the bathroom. I probably should have taken that as a red flag that her mental health was awful, but I didn't, and as I usually did, I left it alone. You're almost 30, dude. You gotta have this figured out at some point. Just because women are quiet doesn't mean that they want you to leave it alone. When they're quiet, that just means that they're plotting on you.
Don't you get it? You gotta use reverse psychology. That sounds too complicated.
That's a joke, mostly. Anyway, around 4 months into the year, Mary had all but pulled away from me altogether. And you still don't want to have a conversation about it? Jesus. We were basically just roommates who lived and co-parented together. She would make plans with our daughter without me, or ask if I wanted to come last minute. I could tell that she was only asking because our daughter had asked if I was coming. She didn't actually really want me to be there. These trips, road trips, or just fun excursions would usually end in us arguing, though, and her getting mad. Yeah, something deeper is going on here, and you're scared to look, is what it is. I do understand that, but sometimes you've got to grasp the nettle, lift up the rock and see what's underneath, because it's not always wood lice, is it? Sometimes it's divorce paperwork. In May, she informed me that she was taking a girls' trip with a coworker in August. This was something completely unheard of with her. She never made plans for just herself, and honestly, it pissed me off. Dude, what? That's... I don't think that's a healthy reaction either. To think that she was just going out of the country for the weekend was enough to set me off, and I ignored her the week leading up to her leaving. Do you really think that's wise? This is so ludicrous. You're doing the reverse of everything that is correct. Are you being wrong on purpose? You're just really this clueless? My goodness. That weekend, I was left with the dogs and our daughter to take care of alone. When she came back, I was angry, to say the least, but I think this is where I truly started this downhill chaos. She walked in with bags and bags of stuff, a huge smile on her face, and said, "I brought gifts." I let our daughter get her things that Mary brought back and spend time with her before she ran off to her room to play. Mary pushed a bag across to me, smiled, and told me that she didn't forget me and how badly she needed to get away for the weekend. I snapped and threw the bag in the trash with everything in it. I think you are just getting it all wrong on purpose. I'm glad you had a good weekend, darling. It's so nice that you were able to escape for a little while. Everything around here was great, but we definitely missed you so much. Can you say all of that? Is it really that hard? Open the present and smile and be like, oh, a bottle opener. That's just what I wanted from Tijuana. Wait, she's going to Europe? Did it say? I can't remember. Who cares? This is where I said something that I know I'll never be able to take back. You probably did nothing but cheat, and I don't want what a cheater buys me. Even as angry as I was, I watched the light in my wife's eyes die. There wasn't any anger, any sadness, any happiness. She just stood there, staring at me with this blank expression. OP's so clueless, he's probably like, cool, I got a Stepford wife now. She's an emotionless robot. Is that what you wanted? She's not allowed to have a shitty day at work or come home upset. OP doesn't even want to hear about it. He just ignores it. She stalked off into her room and, yeah, I let her do it. Follow her. Say, hey, how's your day? Can I make your day better? Let me rub your feet or something, you know? But yeah, quite literally, OP just doesn't give a shit. It's all about his own ego and like, oh, you went away for a weekend and that means you cheated. Where's that coming from? Do you have any proof of that? Are you just accusing her of cheating because actually you're the one cheating? Because I've seen that a lot too. Anyway, OP says, we didn't speak for a few weeks after that, but I could tell what I had said really affected her in a bad way. I mean, probably. She's like, I'm gonna go out and cheat now. I got accused of it anyway. She wasn't eating, her hygiene was slipping, and she wasn't keeping up with the house anymore. That's when she walked in September with her head hung and told me that she had lost her job. Apparently her mental health taken such a downturn that her performance at work had fallen and they found a replacement for her position. I did what I could to help her get through it, and as selfish as it was, I was relieved. Oh no, I'm not surprised about that at all. This has all been about you. You're not offering any solutions or sympathy. You're just like, yeah, we'll get through it. Secretly, though, I think it's great. I hope you lose the next job you get, too. You understand, like, this? Why this is a bad mindset to have towards your fucking wife? Hello? Ugh. I thought I'd get my wife back, and for about a month and a half, I did. She was slowly coming back, smiling, laughing, talking with me. It was like the woman I had fallen in love with was back. Well, the woman that you fell in love with was there the whole time. She was just going through like a rough patch and you did fucking nothing to help her out. You're just like, ew, I don't like when you're sad. Go away. That is ludicrous. Do you understand? OP says, all that was until Monday evening. She came into the living room and sat down across from me. She looked angry, sad, and a mix of just chaos. I was gaming and on my mic at the time, so I just looked at her, waiting for her to say something. So this is where I knew I screwed up. Mary's birthday was about 3 weeks ago. We had discussed some things to do, and she had given me some ideas of things that she would like. It wasn't anything special or over the top. She just wanted to spend the day with me, either at a spa or going out to eat and see a movie while a nanny watched our daughter. That's easy enough, right? Not for me, apparently. I didn't plan anything, and the morning of her birthday, she knew. Yeah, you should have brought her, like, breakfast in bed. It's her fucking birthday, man. This guy sucks.
Boo this man!
Like, I think that I drop the ball a lot, that I don't try hard enough and stuff like that, but Jesus, compared to this dude, a rock would be better than this dude. Mary looked at me after we got home from dropping our daughter off at school, and I asked her what she wanted to do. Her face immediately fell, and she said nothing. I watched as she walked back to our bedroom, closed the door, and slept for the entire day. She didn't even want to spend the rest of the day with our daughter once she was home from school. Yeah, you broke your wife once, and she starts to come back, and so you let yourself slip again, and then you break her all over again. I think this is what the last OP meant when he said his wife is like tired of trying. Mary is eventually going to get tired of trying. I mean, shit, my wife might get tired of trying too at some point eventually, but at least I push back against it. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I know I screwed up. I know I screwed up again, all right? I'm sorry, I don't want to fight anymore. Just please let it be better now. Sometimes it works. 50-50. It's a toss-up. OP says, going back to Monday, she brought it up, asking why we were even married anymore, if all I was going to do was gaslight her into thinking that I cared, that I toyed with her, thinking that we could actually salvage this relationship, that I had done nothing but shatter her heart again and again. This pissed me off, admittedly. Oh yeah, anger, that's the healthy response. I know I probably had a nasty look on my face when I said this, but I was so angry that I told her, "You don't even know the meaning of the word. You're too stupid to know the meaning of that word, so just keep your mouth shut if you're gonna do nothing but be ignorant." She stood up and slapped me. I didn't do anything but watch in shock as she ran out of the room crying after that. Dude, she's really trying to, like, lay it on the table, have an open conversation, but you just want to be a fucking baby. Let your ego get in the way. All she wants you to say is, yes, I fucked up. I want to do differently in the future. I will do differently in the future. Don't say want to, because that's weak language. She needs reassurance. This is a time of great need, but OP is just so fucking self-absorbed, he can't see it. He can't see it at all. Since then, all she does is cry, and I'm at a loss on how to fix this, if it can even be fixed. Have you tried talking about it, using your words like a big boy? Because I find that works more often than not. I'm sitting by myself in the damn living room thinking of everything throughout the years. As she's asleep in our daughter's room with her, the only thing that she said to me since then was, "You accused me of cheating because I needed to breathe from stress and no help here at home for just one weekend. Do you know how many horror stories I've read about husbands leaving their wives for women that they game with, and you game all the time?" Oh, see wifey being a little jealous of the PC time? I've seen that one before too. Like, you can still do your gaming and shit, but like, reserve some time. You know what I mean? Reassure her. That's really what she needs, is reassurance. She doesn't know that you still even like her at this point, because all you do is say mean, hurtful things or ignore her completely. You can see where she's coming from? No? Yeah? Probably not. He's a fucking idiot. OP said, "I don't know. Maybe I am jealous. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe she deserves better." She definitely does. Maybe I've neglected her for too long at this point. I just needed a place to spew all of this as my marriage crumbles around me. Some advice would be nice, I guess. See, look at you, like a fucking petulant child. Can't even be open and honest with a group of internet strangers. You don't want to take any responsibility for this thing that is clearly your fault, and that is ludicrous to me. Why are you like this? Why do you choose to be like this? Because at a certain point you are choosing it. You could just be like, "Oh, that's my nature, I'm just a selfish guy, blah, blah, blah," but we can make changes to ourselves, even if they're small, even if they're slight. She'd probably take notice, but you don't want to do that. It's too hard to hop off the game 30 minutes early so I can rub her feet. It's just too hard. What an inconvenience to me that this person that makes my life go round needs me. You're a fucking mess, bro. I guess an edit and update, since I don't really know how to go about it on here. Some context here, so I don't seem like a completely emotionally absent husband and father. I mean, you sort of are. I work in chemical engineering, which is a very demanding job. My normal schedule can swing at any given moment, and normally I work anywhere from between 60 to 80 hours a week. My wife works in finance, so her job has a more set schedule, 9 to 5 when she works, so she took on the majority of the household duties and cared for our child when we didn't need the nanny. It was just something that we agreed to when we first got married, since she would have a more normal job in terms of schedule than myself. And even when you noticed her like on the verge of a mental breakdown, at no point are you like, maybe we should keep the nanny for like, you know, a few more hours so you don't have to switch immediately into mom mode as soon as you come home, right? Ideally, you would be there to help out and take some of the burden, but if you can't, you're making the money, okay, I get it. However, maybe some of that money should be spent, giving your wife a break. It seems like all she's doing is cutting off pieces of herself and handing them to you, and then you throw them in the trash, like you don't even appreciate the sacrifice. God damn it. OP continues, yes, emotionally, I am as ignorant as they come. I was raised in a broken home with very little affection. My mother had to work constantly to keep a roof over mine and my siblings' heads, so it was a focus on your education, not your social life type of thing, and that's what I did. Financially, I'm secure because of that, and I'm grateful for it. I don't have to worry, my family doesn't have to worry, and we have everything that we need. I'll never say that I regret my education, but I will say I hate that it's costing me like it is now. I guess the best way of putting it is I'm a nerd in a lab coat who's an idiot with women. Yes, we do actually exist outside of shows and movies. Yeah, only because you've chosen to remain that way. You're a cardboard cutout of a human being is what you are. And I think the most laughable thing about it all is you throwing your hands up and being like, well, that's just how it is. I have my reasons and I can't ever change ever. It's a cop-out is what it is. You don't want to change because it's inconvenient to you. Why not just let your wife keep giving up pieces of herself? That's much easier, isn't it? Now, for those of you saying this is fake, unfortunately, it's not. Though I will say I take it as a compliment to be accused of being ChatGPT. To the other, I'm an engineer, not an English major. I'm not a professional writer, obviously, and I was told by a coworker to come here for some advice. This is not Mary, and I've read through the comments, personal messages, and damn! Being honest, I really didn't think it was that bad, but I guess if you have the outpouring of anger that I've gotten, I realized that I really needed to take a moment to think about everything Saturday as the comments about what a piece of crap I am flooded in. Well, here's one more on top of the pile, Even here, I see you using some, weak language and just oh, I'm gonna think about it. No, I need you to fucking take action is what I need. Otherwise, this thing's not gonna work ever. But anyway, so I sat down with my wife yesterday after I finally got her to settle down. Conversation was turbulent, to say the least, and I've come to realize that I love my wife, but I'm not in love with my wife. Dude, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure I actually resent her in some odd way. I don't even understand why. That was a heartbreaking thing to realize on both of our parts, which I think just destroyed my wife further. See, you sit down to have the conversation and then you just say a hurtful thing. No contrition, no nothing. That's the way I am. You're pathetic. She deserves so much better. OP says, I know she loves me or she wouldn't have put up with half of what she has. I think that's what sucks the most out of all of this is just watching as you keep hurting someone even when you just want to do better by them. Yeah, I do relate to that statement on some level. I'm a bit of a fuck up too, but I'm also like a loyal hound, always ready to try and make it better, if you still want to. At some point, my wife will be like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit too, and she'll take off. But at least I tried harder than this guy, I guess. I know I love her, but I can't bring myself to say that I truly love her. Maybe it's just the comfortability after so long or something. I don't know, and I won't claim to know at this point. She's given me a home, not just a house, a beautiful little girl, and more love than I've ever known. I'm an a-hole, I know. Trust me, I know, and I know it's something wrong with me, mentally, not her. Damn, that's real. So what are you gonna do about it? He just throws his hands up. I don't know. I play computer games, I guess. So I let her read through everything I posted with me after our talk. And I think the one comment that hurt the most from all of you, though, and the one that stood out to her the most, was one that said, how you're showing your daughter she should be treated. Eye-opening, to say the least. I wouldn't want my daughter to be married to a man who ignored her and made her feel like she didn't deserve the world. I could see the hurt in Mary's eyes as she realized that our daughter could end up in a loveless marriage because of our actions and think that that's perfectly okay. A lot of tears shed yesterday evening on that one, on both parts. Yeah, tears don't mean shit. Do you have a plan of action? divorce. So, individual, couples, and family therapy is being scheduled before a divorce is set in motion in the next coming weeks. It's been quiet since then, and I can't bring myself to look into the mirror. I'm disgusted with myself. I promised I wouldn't allow my child to grow up in a broken home or feel less than loved because that's all I ever knew. I watched my own mother end up in a loveless marriage, cheated on, divorced, left with 4 kids to raise basically on her own, and now it feels like I'm continuing my dad's legacy of family neglect and abandonment, just in a different way. Yeah, that means you failed the test. The cycle of hurt has continued with you. You fucked it up, and you don't even see the need to truly change. You're just like, yeah, we'll do therapy and maybe some divorce stuff, I don't know. You really are just a husk, aren't you? I guess in some weird way, thank you, Reddit. Even with all the hateful comments and messages, it was eye-opening to see different points of view. I'm taking it all with a grain of salt, and I'm going to do my best to try and at least make life easier for Mary and my daughter. Working on fixing myself and my mental health. Yeah, that's nice and non-specific. Getting Mary the help she needs and any help that our daughter might need from all of this. Even if it means we end up divorced, I don't want them to ever struggle financially or emotionally because of me, and I don't ever want my daughter to think for 1 second that I don't love her. I mean, I'm sure you love her on some level, but you just love your job and video games a lot more. There's some things that need to be sorted for sure. Second update. Hi all, I never planned on a second update, but yeah, here I am. Mary and I went for our 2 therapy sessions this past week, and a lot has come out that I can't believe I was oblivious to. My wife has been struggling with depression and anxiety for years now. Apparently postpartum did a number on her after we had our daughter, and she never truly recovered from it. I didn't know, and that's my own fault. Yeah, because you had blinders on. You're not seeing anything outside of yourself and your chemical engineering. Precious 80 hours a week chemical engineering job. I guess I will try and stop shitting on OP because, he's taking some accountability at this point, at least. And I don't know, it's a long road ahead of you, but at least you've started to walk it or talk about walking it. Baby steps, that's what I know. OP continues, there were points in our conversation during the couple's counseling that really hit hard and hurt. I asked her why she pulled away like she did at one point once she'd started working again. She showed me multiple texts, emails, missed calls where she had reached out during the day, excited about the job she had just started, and I never answered. God, how far up your own ass are you? So her point was, I didn't seem like I cared to even know what was going on. So she quit trying after the first few months of me not responding. I get it. I do. If I had to beg for attention the way that she has had to for the past few years, I would quit as well. I bet you'd quit. You don't really want to change for anything. I don't know. I don't want to believe this. He just seems too stuck in his ways, man. But I guess, like I said, it's the start of a very long road. If he can walk it, that's great. I just don't know if I believe all that much. Probably his wife doesn't either at this point, but okay, benefit of the doubt. Hey, great. Maybe you'll fucking text your wife back when I write you that I'm excited about my first day of work. What an asshole. I did finally break down and ask her about her trip. I felt like an idiot when she pulled the phone out and started showing me pictures that she had taken with her female coworker. Nothing but old architecture, museums, food, art, even going so far as to show me receipts for everything she had bought, where she had been. And she did point out that she had texted and tried calling multiple times while away. I was so angry at that time, though, that I ignored her every call, every text. See, at least you're admitting to it being a power play in that moment, but when she's trying to tell you about her new job and how excited she is, why the fuck wouldn't you answer those texts or calls? You're just too caught up in your own crap? I don't know if I buy it. There's something sinister brewing here. Which admittedly, OP says, I had forgotten about doing. Yeah, I forgot I ignored you. Sorry. Now looking back, I feel like crap about it because she told me that she was just wanting to know during that time what I would want while she was away. Souvenirs, sweater, shirt, model sets, basically everything I threw away that she had gotten me. That's bleak, dude. She was trying to build the bridge. I called it out when it happened, but yeah, just the lack of awareness. Wow. We did discuss her never wanting me to go with her and our daughter, or what I felt was her not wanting me to come. She told me it was just frustrating to invite someone out for weeks in advance because she wasn't just taking our daughter to the park or something. She was planning to attend events, parades, festivals, etc. I admit I forgot about a lot of them and forgot to buy tickets. Yeah, I can't remember the birthday, can't remember the tickets. What fucking good are you, really? He works 80 hours a week. He stays gone most of the time. I guess that's the main advantage. She took it upon herself to take a picture of me every hour one day while I was gaming, and I nearly vomited in the therapist's office. I had spent a total of 12 hours on my off day gaming. It was eye-opening, especially when Mary broke down in tears and stated that this has been going on for years. Yeah, damn, man. On some level, I get it. I mean, I'm shackled to my computer more than I would like to be, too. Yeah. This story, like, as much as I attack OP, I think it's because I see parts of myself in OP that I really don't like. And I'm not gonna cry, but I do feel it welling up. That's when she dropped the bombshell on me. She found messages between me and a woman that I game with online. Oh, what the fuck, bro? She had printed the messages out in advance and sat them on the table in front of us. You've been having an emotional affair with this woman for years, she told me. This blindsided me, and in a panic, I walked out of our sessions. Yeah, that's it. Just run away from your problems. I realize it's better to talk to your spouse about issues and such, but it just came easier with that other woman. I know in the process I neglected and hurt my family, but I was too blind to see what I was doing. Yeah, I still don't think that gives you a pass, necessarily. There needs to be remunerations of some sort. Remember her fucking birthday, for God's sake. Since then, things have been tense in the house. What I believe to be my happy, doting wife now likely hates me. Our daughter doesn't interact with me, and anytime I try, she just says I don't know what I'm doing and pushes me away. It's crazy that everything I built in this 13 years is crumbling away. It hurts, and I hate it, but it's my own damn doing. The thought of truly losing my family makes me physically sick, but I know that there's no coming back from all this. I won't be updating anymore after this. I'm sorry if this comes off as ranty and all over the place. I'm just realizing how badly I did screw up as I sit in my car before heading home from work. Damn, dude. That is some heavy stuff dropped right in everybody's lap. I guess this is, the final result of what happens when you are scared to look at the problem. You let things erode and erode for 13 entire years. You know, she never knows what version of you she's going to get either. The neglectful one or the angry one. And neither of them are really all that stellar to be around. So I stick with what I said a bit earlier on. She definitely does deserve better than you. And I hope before you jump into a relationship with another person that you do some severe, very hard work on yourself. I think that's the only answer in a situation like this. It sucks to see it, man. It really sucks that you would do that to another human being. Maybe unknowingly, but yeah, callously, uncaringly, when really she gave up every part of herself. Dude, I am gonna cry for real. Like, I'm thinking of my wife and just like how much she puts on the table, and I don't feel like I bring enough, and I told myself I wasn't gonna cry, but here I am. Yeah, that's so stupid. I'm gonna take a quick break, a breather, and I'll come back to you with dry eyes. Okay, I've come to some harsh conclusions that, well, I don't want to be a fuck up. Like, that's more than this guy ever gave. You know what I mean? He doesn't even acknowledge his wrongdoings, whereas I'm constantly trying to step it up and keep up with my wife, who really does just sacrifice fucking everything. Everything. I wish that I could be half the person that she is, if I'm completely honest. And it might seem like, stupid wife guy hours, whatever, who cares, but it really does matter deeply to me. And yeah, I can accept that there's changes to make and there's still a lot that I need to do. So I'm going to go and do it.
Soft chief did much work in moons that followed, relations with tribe queen strong, loud like jungle cat yowling in dead of night. Sometimes gubbin scared, walls shake, spirit leaves body, but heart remains warm, because effort real, we all see inside you, chief, fire burn true, you feel guilt, good, you act better, even gooder, you cry, then move, you bleed, then build, that strength, you know already, now go, tribe depart, but remember, you have worth, like shiny stone in deep mud, you deserve good fire, strong hug, soft bed, no matter what shadows tell you, you earn it, tell Shadow that Gubbins said so, Gubbins.
Nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka. Sunlight glinting on Nippon steel, folded 1,000 times, can cut through any argument, defeating illogical crimes. Dew drifting down from the heavens, settling on my blade. I quest higher into the mountains before my euphoria fades. Nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka. There I seek the sacred bird, and its flesh and I shall render, carving out the holy snack to claim that chicken tender. My fedora tips beneath the weight of the sacred task ahead. I draw on the gods of atheists and the Dawkins texts I read. Nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka. Come to me, my true waifu, my slayer of the titans. Instead she speaks the sacred words and the phrase that frightens. You do know that two isn't kind. You must leave this world, you have to die. I chug my flask of Mountain Dew and draw my blade for Sudoku. Nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka, nani baka. The battle rages on and on until I draw my final breath. Then I catch the glint of euphoria as I fall into my death. Through the power of God and anime, I gain the 10 B's in